First time we met him, we went to the door. Last year we knocked on it. This year we're going to kick it in.
I tell you what, we don't even have tickets. We just come to party.
We have a terrific ball club. We have a history of winning. We have a terrific coach.
Everything could be hanging on 4th and goal with a half a yard. Goldman. He didn't make it.
Who do you think's going to win?
Who's playing?
ABC Sports presents the 53rd renewal of a college football classic, a matchup of the Big 8 Conference and Southeastern Conference, Nebraska and LSU in the USF&G Sugar Bowl. Nebraska, with its dashing sophomore quarterback Steve Taylor. From California he came to help the Cornhuskers to a 9-2 record and a top 10 ranking in 1986. LSU, led by a freshman quarterback, Tom Hudson, who set a school record of 19 touchdown passes in the season, whose poise belies his young years. From the Louisiana Superdome, the USF&G Sugar Bowl. And a happy, happy new year from all of us at ABC Sports as we look to Nebraska and LSU and hear the Fighting Tigers. Record is 9-2, ranked 5th and 6th by AP and UPI. Coach Bill Arnsparger's 3rd year. He leaves after this game and 36 years on the sidelines to become the athletic director at the University of Florida. They are the SEC champions. And so as that roar subsides, here come the Cornhuskers. They are ranked 5th and 6th by UPI and AP. Coach Tom Osborne, 136 wins in 14 years, and he's in his 14th consecutive bowl game. So Tom must be doing something right. Hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson, and it looks like we're going to survive another New Year's in New Orleans. There were a couple of bumps along the holiday season prior to this Sugar Bowl game. Some Nebraska players got into a bit of a scuffle with the New Orleans police in the French Quarter. They were accused of upsetting things a bit, but finally it was put to rest and quickly forgotten. LSU will go without a defensive end named Roland Barbet, an outstanding player, but he is a victim of the steroid ban by the NCAA. Some steroids he had gotten from a private source in an effort to rehabilitate a knee. The university and its medical staff was not involved. So that's just one of many players that have been banned from bowl games in this postseason. Let's turn to Tim Brandt now and talk about today's matchup. I think one of the better matchups of the postseason play. And Timmy, I think one of the key matchups is right down in the middle where the big guys work.
I agree with you, and I couldn't feel more strongly about this. I think the key to this ball game is how well LSU's center, Nacho Albergamo, handles Danny Noonan. Now, Noonan is Nebraska's All-American middle guard. Albergamo gives up 27 pounds. He's almost 30 pounds lighter than Noonan is, but somehow he's got to come out, he's got to control it. He has to keep Noonan out of the backfield, open up the middle for some runs to complement and take some of the pressure off the quarterback at LSU, Tommy Hudson. Now, I thought it was funny yesterday when we were talking to Nacho Albergamo, and he said he hasn't slept in 2 nights just thinking about Danny Noonan.
He's a big dominating force in the middle, and you know teams can't run up the middle on him. And the biggest thing I've seen is he takes a corner real good, and centers have a hard time staying square on him, and he'll just beat you with his strength. So my key is to stay square on him and meet him strength for strength.
He's a good center. He's not quite as big as some of the centers that I played against in the Big 8, but he's quicker. And as a whole, their offensive line hasn't given up, I think, only 8 sacks the whole year. And that's going to be the key to this game. If we get any pressure on their quarterback and make him throw off balance. We don't necessarily need to get a sack, but we need to make him throw off balance.
The Cornhuskers better put some pressure on this LSU quarterback. He's a young one, but he's a good one. Tommy Hudson passing for 2,261 yards and 19 touchdowns. He's a redshirt freshman, and he's getting better every week. But there is another fellow oftentimes at the end of the Rockets from Hudson named Wendell Davis they better look out for.
See, now I think it's important that Hudson gets the ball to Davis at least 7 times today. They have to get it in his hands. He is the record setter, the best receiver that LSU has ever had. 80 catches, 12 touchdowns. No one's ever done that before at LSU. He is some kind of big play guy. They've got to get it to him. Now, again, I thought it was interesting when we talked to Nebraska head coach Tom Osborne yesterday, and he says, hey, we're not going to do anything extra to give him any extra attention.
We've never been big on trying to push our defense out of shape for one person. You start doing that, some other guy kills you, you know. So we're not going to make any special note of where Wendell Davis is. We're just hoping we can play good, sound defense. If we're in a zone and we get all the zones covered, if we're man-to-man, we cover them. So, but he's a very, very fine player.
It's a lot of little things sometimes that add up to the big thing, and that big thing would be a win. But LSU's defensive coordinator, Mike Archer, who succeeds Bill Arnsparger as the Tigers head coach after this ball game, has some ideas about how he can put a wrinkle in the Nebraska offense.
I'll tell you this, Keith. Mike Archer doesn't want any big things today, any of those big plays.
Right.
As a matter of fact, his secondary is one of those secondaries that likes to gamble a lot. And consequently, they were burnt a couple of times with big plays and ended up 9th in their conference in pass defense. He doesn't want that to happen today. And Nebraska probably will come out and throw a little bit more than it has. Also, they have to be able to contain quarterback Steve Taylor. He knows that. Now, what they want to do is get in Taylor's face quickly because they think they can frustrate him a little bit.
And looking at the 11 games on film, when Taylor is going exceptionally well, it's very hard to stop him. When he has difficulty with the option or people are putting pressure on him with the passing game and he's throwing it to the other team, he does have some problems, and we're aware of that. We see it, and we're going to try and frustrate him.
As we told you, Bill Arnsparger is going to step aside now and retire from the coaching sidelines after 3 years at LSU with a record of 26-7-2. But that's 36 years on the sidelines in college and professional football. And talking to Bill yesterday, I asked him why he chose this particular time to step aside.
Well, then I just got to the point, Keith, I think, that I felt like it was time to step down and give someone else an opportunity. Because I think to me, being successful is doing what you enjoy, doing what you want, and which I've had the opportunity to do for 36 years. And I think it's then you've got to have a peace of mind, I think, that there are no regrets. And I have a peace of mind, and I don't regret anything. And I just felt like it was time to step down.
And so we are ready to put the ball on the tee for the 53rd time in New Orleans. Nebraska LSU in the USF&G Sugar Bowl. Well, the dance is about to begin in New Orleans with Nebraska kicking off. To LSU, Tom Osborne, 14th consecutive bowl game. Bill Arnsparger, his 3rd consecutive bowl game. Returning for the Tigers, Harvey Williams, 22. Eddie Fuller, 33. Kicking off for Nebraska, Dale Klein, the senior from Seward, Nebraska. The officials are all out of the Southwest Conference, and here we go. From the Louisiana Superdome, the 3-yard line, it's Harvey Williams, the freshman out of Hempstead, Texas. Finds a crease up the middle and turns him out across the 30 and rolls to the 34-yard line. Tom Hudson, 180-pound quarterback, freshman out of Matthews, Louisiana. Sam Martin is the tailback, 165-pound junior from New Orleans. Mickey Harris, fullback, 205 pounds, Covington, Louisiana. Roger McGee, flanker, junior, 201-pounder, Bogalusa. Wendell Davis, wide receiver, 6-footer, out of Shreveport, a junior. All members of the starting offensive unit for LSU are from their home state of Louisiana. And from the 34-yard line, the first snap of the ball game, Hudson rolls it out and wants to put it up. He goes deep down the sidelines. He's got a man wide open, Wendell Davis, and Davis turning with speed, goes inside the 25 and down at the 23, caught by Brian Siebler.
All right, watch Hudson work now. It's a sideline and up. See the pump fake? And he runs right by Brian Washington, number 5 of Nebraska. Wendell Davis is the key to this offense. He's a big play guy. He's the kind of receiver that makes his cuts while the defensive back is still backing him up in his back pedal. Now here's Noonan and Nacho Albergamo. It's a stalemate. Look at Albergamo. Takes him to the ground. That's a pin. 43 yards.
And first down, LSU at the Nebraska 23-yard line, and Tony Moss is in at flanker, replacing Roger McGee. Martin, number 23 is the tailback, and another speedster, and Hudson gives it to him, and Martin picks his way, gets to the line of scrimmage, and Kevin Parsons cuts him down. Brian Kenyon is the tight end for the Tigers out of Baton Rouge, 221. Ralph Norwood at tackle, 265 pounds, New Orleans. Keith Melanson at guard, 266, Hahnville, Louisiana. Nacho Albergamo weighs in at 257 from Marrero at center. The other guard is Eric Andelsek, 270-pound junior Thibodeau, and John Hazard at tackle, 256-pound senior from New Orleans. And McGee is back in at flanker for LSU on 2nd down and 10. Hudson stands up, good protection, sideline pattern, pinned down quickly. Martin, the tailback, he'll have a couple of yards down to about the 21. Broderick Thomas, defensive end for Nebraska sophomore, Houston, Texas. Chris Foxman, tackle at 265, Kansas City. Danny Noonan, the nose guard, 280 out of Lincoln, Nebraska. Neil Smith, the tackle, 250-pound junior. He's at home in New Orleans. Tony Holloway, the defensive end on the other side, 205, Bellevue, Nebraska. And it is 3rd down and about 8 yards for LSU. Sam Martin is out and Harvey Williams is in. Williams, the fellow who brought the kickoff back for them. They have great speed at that deep back position. 3rd and long, and Hudson will throw it. Cuts it upfield. Great move by the quarterback. 1st down inside the 5-yard line. Siebler saved the touchdown for Nebraska.
Hudson seems to respond well to pressure. Tight fit game. Watch this now. He pulls it back down. This is an all-around athlete. This is a guy who was highly recruited. Practiced only 1 day as a freshman because of an injured arm, but he can run.
We've had a penalty flag thrown after the play, and it's going to work. They're talking right now. That's some serious conversation right there between Wendell Shelton and Brian Siebler.
Dead ball, non-contact foul, defense, 1st down.
There was conversation early, and then the referee and Brian Siebler, who sort of runs the show defensively for Nebraska, had a serious talk. And so it goes against the Cornhuskers in the early going. There's been a lot of conversation back and forth between both sides coming into this game. And I think Wendell Shelton and his crew just want to get a hold of things early on in the ball game. So it's LSU's football. 1st down and goal, and the ball is sitting near the 2-yard line of Nebraska. A timeout. No score, but certainly the Tigers are knocking on the door in the 1st quarter.
This is a
against Nebraska in the early going of this 53rd Sugar Bowl game. 1st down and goal, just short of the 2-yard line. Hudson at quarterback. Fullback is Mickey Harris. Sam Martin. Now it is the tailback, Harvey Williams, diving at the top of the stack, and the Huskers meet him at the 1 and reel him in. In 1985 Sugar Bowl game, LSU led Nebraska by a score of 10-0 at halftime. The Huskers came out and blew them away to win 28-10 the 2nd half. And this particular play, Timmy, is reminiscent of that great Alabama-Penn State goal line stand, remember, of 1979.
Absolutely. That was a great defensive penetration by the line, and then the linebackers and secondary people filled quickly.
All right, now they go to a little different formation, splitting the backs. Good read sweep. As they move Williams into that position, send a man in motion, give it instead in the middle, Hudson, and Williams dives into the traffic, and I think they've held him again just short. The Nebraska defense digging in here. Linebacker Kevin Parsons, 240 pounds, Springfield, Missouri. Mark Munford, he's a senior out of Littleton, Colorado. Cornerbacks are Brian Davis, 190-pound senior out of Phoenix. John Custard, 175-pound sophomore, Bellevue. Brian Washington is a strong safety at 220. Highland Springs, Virginia. And Brian Siebler, the safety man, 195-pound senior from Fremont. And it is 3rd down and goal to go. Just about a half a yard away for LSU. They pounded the middle twice and come away empty. This time it is Harvey Williams, touchdown.
The most highly sought, most talented high school players in the country last year. He's not disappointed the LSU faithful. Look at him, powering in. Scored 6 touchdowns this year. run over 700 yards and is LSU's third leading receiver. Phenomenal numbers for a young rookie in a tough league.
David Browndyke, a freshman out of Dallas, is in for the extra point. Todd Tomlinson, the punter, will do the holding. And the man snapping is Chris Carrier. Chris Carrier plays in the defensive secondary. He's not all that big, but he's tough. And the officials stop it for a moment. Browndyke took over from Ron Lewis in the Kentucky Bowl game to handle the kicking chores for LSU, and he's done very well. 19 for 19 in his conversions. Left puts it up. Nails it. At 12:06 to go in the first quarter. LSU on a big pass play from Tom Hudson to Wendell Davis. Move it down the field. Stick it in the end zone and lead 7-0. Back in 1959, the polls chose their champions out of the regular season, ignoring the results of the bowl games. But LSU went into the Sugar Bowl against Clemson, beat them 7-0. They went in as national champions and came out as national champions, and Billy Cannon was the star. And now we're ready to go with LSU leading Nebraska 7-0. The Tigers kicking off. Matt DeFrank will do the kicking. Dana Brinson and Vaughn Shepard wingbacks for the Huskers are the deep people. Shepard is number 2, a junior out of St. Paul, Minnesota. So LSU's first possession, they put it in the end zone, and here's the kick. A sailor that hooks toward the corner and goes into the end zone, and Nebraska's first possession will begin at their own 20 with Steve Taylor at quarterback for the Cornhuskers. He's a sophomore out of San Diego, California. Tyrese Knox will start at I-back out of Daly City, California. Both of them sophomores. Ken Kalen is the fullback, a senior from Westerville, big guy, 225. Vaughn Shepard opens at wingback, a senior from St. Paul, and Rod Smith is the wideout, 6'2", 195 from Thornton, Colorado. Tom Osborne always comes with some different plays, trick plays. Let's see if he decides to spin one early. Taylor rolls it, keeps it, turns to the line of scrimmage, picks up 1 yard, and he is cut down by Ron Sancho. Rob Maggard is a tackle, senior, Olathe, Kansas, 265. Stan Parker at guard, 270. Mark Cooper at center, 250 for Nebraska. John McCormick, 265, a junior at the other guard. Tom Welter on the right side. He's the primary man when they get into tough yardage situation. And Todd Milliken, the tight end, 6'3 and 230. Shepard hobbling off the field. They play on the artificial surface here. It is a relatively forgiving artificial surface, but Shepard now is moving rather gingerly, but looks like now he's able to carry his own weight and will trot off the field. So that's promising for Vaughn Shepard. In the Citrus Bowl, just seen here on ABC, Auburn beat USC. That's incorrect. Auburn beat USC 16-7.
Keith, I don't think Vaughn Shepard was hurt when he was hit. I don't think he was hit at all. I think he was making a cut. They tried to throw the ball, as we said they would, early against LSU, and Shepard just seemed to catch his cleats in the AstroTurf.
Call it second down, 8.5. Dana Brinson comes in at the wingback position now for Nebraska. Ball is given away to the I-back, Tyrese Knox out of Daly City, California. He's a pretty good-sized running back at 5'10", 215, and he moves the ball up just over the 25 before Kevin Guidry comes from the corner to get him. So Nebraska will be looking at third down and 5.
See, they're looking at the knee of Shepard. I tell you, he's a dangerous guy. He has experience and speed. Had the highest rushing average in the Big 8 last year. Tell you how dangerous he is. He ran the ball twice against Oklahoma last year and picked up 65 yards.
Jeff Wheeler is now in the backfield for Nebraska, but the deep back behind the quarterback is Ken Kalen. That reads pass, and Taylor is back looking. Feels the pressure, steps away from it, gets it off deep down the middle, and it is incomplete. The pass intended for the tight end, Todd Milliken. And so LSU has held Nebraska in its first offensive try, and the Huskers will have to punt it away. John Coker will come in. John finished the season just under 40 yards on 46 punts. Norman Jefferson will be the deep man to receive it for LSU. Both teams losing just 2 games. Snap is on the money. Some pressure on him. Spins it out of there. And Jefferson comes up, getting good field position on a fair catch for LSU at their own 42-yard line. With 10 minutes and 44 seconds to play in the first quarter, and the Tigers leading 7-0. Keep his dander up today, doesn't he?
Sometimes he plays mental gymnastics with himself. If he gets off to a slow start, he gets down on himself, and it takes a while to come out of it. And that's the way the LSU coaches feel. They want to get in his face like they did on that first series and get him frustrated early, take him out of the ballgame mentally.
Tigers go to work first down from their own 42, leading 7-0 here in the first quarter. Tom Hudson turns, throws, pass is caught by Sam Martin. Martin, the tailback, had come out into a wide-out position, and he moves for 7 yards to the 49, where Tony Holloway and Charles Fryer brings him down. Charles Fryer playing today with a heavy heart, lost his mom last week. 10:20 to go in this first period, and the SEC champions jump out on top. Second down, 2.5. That's Harris, the fullback, going in motion. Pitch goes to Martin, the tailback. Martin not very big at 165 pounds, but running him down is like trying to catch a shadow sometimes, and he's got a first down for LSU at the Nebraska 43.
I'll tell you, he's not big, but he's like a whirling dervish. Martin is the most versatile player on the Tigers roster. He's the second leading rusher, second leading receiver. He plays in the backfield. He plays wide out. Sounds like Tim Brown of Notre Dame, doesn't it? Matter of fact, his best game came against the Irish.
LSU offense is finding a lot of daylight, and so far there has been no penetration by the Nebraska defensive front. Huskers are not big blitzers anyway. On first down, Hudson gives it to Martin, and Sam never did have a hold of it, so rather than risk losing the ball, he goes right to the ground with it at the 45, and penalty flags now come out of the pockets.
And it's going to be a personal foul. Brian Washington down there, I saw him throw a punch, but that doesn't mean he started it. A lot of times it's the guy that throws the punch, the second guy who gets caught, though.
Well, they've had one non-contact foul already called against them.
Keith, I'll tell you what LSU has done that has been exceptional. It's their play selection. They've gone to a flanker screen. They started out with a sideline up deep pass to Wendell Davis. They've had power plays. They've just kept Nebraska on its heels.
Looks like it's offsetting here. Yep. Couple of hooks thrown, so the foul's offset.
Dead ball fouls. We have a dead ball foul occurring first against the defense. We have a dead ball foul against the offense. The fouls will be administered separately and in the order of which they occurred.
All right, Wendell.
Hey, I'll tell you what, though. He did get Brian Washington on the first punch, but he also got the second punch.
All right, now that's 15 yards down to the 30.
There's a brand new rule, just came in this year.
Dead ball, personal foul, defense.
Now we're going to turn around and go back the other way.
Not the first time we've seen this year either. It's a brand new rule, and they have to mark it out both ways.
Like I said, offsetting and a waste of time.
Dead ball, personal foul, offense. It's 1st and 25.
Gets Wendell a lot of airtime.
I tell you, we would have had a scoop, though, if he didn't end up on the 45 again. I think Brian Washington's a little bit frustrated. You know, he was beaten on that sideline up pass right in that first series by Wendell Davis.
All right, the sideline marker still shows first down, but they got to go all the way down to the 20 to get it. So it's 1st and 25, and Hudson, under some pressure, gets to the sidelines and then steps out of bounds. And again, we've got a penalty flag. Danny Noonan had made the penetration that time and chased him out of bounds.
Play action this time. They try to hold everybody up, make it look like a run, and then he's going to roll out. This time, Noonan has the best of Nacho Albergamo, so it's 1-to-1 in that matchup from what we've seen so far.
And you got a holding call going against LSU. So now the Tigers were so sharp and so effective in their first possession are making mistakes in their second possession and going the wrong way. And that will wrinkle the brow of that man very quickly.
Holding. Offense. Repeat. First down.
Boy, Keith, I'll tell you something about Tom Hodson, though. He's mature beyond his years. He led the SEC in passing efficiency. Most 19-year-olds don't know if the football is stuffed or pumped, but this guy is cool.
First down and 35 as Williams comes into the backfield for LSU. Number 22. Hodson is back. Has some time. Trying to buy more with a rollout. Now he's across the line of scrimmage and pummeled out of bounds up around the 46-yard line by Mark Munford. Mark, of course, coming back from serious knee surgery. Big senior out of Littleton, Colorado. He lost some of his speed, but none of his fervor.
One of the greatest comeback stories, I think, in football is Mark Munford. Truly one of the great comeback stories. Suffered a severe knee injury against Kansas last year. Had to have knees totally rebuilt in surgery. His recovery was complicated because of kidney problems. Remember that? Yep. They said he'd never play again. He not only came back to play, but he made the all-conference team for the third straight season. He led the team in tackles, made the all-academic team with a 3.1 average. Impressive guy.
And it's second down and 34. They've got 3 wideouts now. Hodson back. Again has a lot of time and goes down the middle, and that almost got a flag. The back judge had his hand on the flag and then took it away as Derek Salisbury was zeroed in on the ball, and Charles Fryer, number 10, zeroes in on him.
Watch this now. It looks like a combination defense. You see the linebackers rolling with the backs. The deep secondary now takes the post pattern across the middle, and it was awfully close. Watch the receiver now.
This is close to me.
Well, it is a post pattern, and Salisbury brings it across. Now here comes the ball. See if the defender gets there before the ball. I think it's a good play. Yep. From that angle, it's a good play.
Yep. That's exactly the angle that the official had on it, right there. Roderick Thomas is shaken up on the play. He's now up and walking off the field, so the defensive end for the Huskers looks like he's going to be all right. He had an absolutely spectacular first half. Remember against Oklahoma?
Sure did. He's a spectacular athlete. But let's go back to the other play for a second. I'm going to say definitively I didn't think it was pass interference. That's a good no call.
He had his hand in his pocket, but then he pulled it out. You've got 8 minutes to play in the first quarter.
I think all those penalties, the offsetting personal fouls and then the holding penalty, have taken LSU out of its rhythm.
I don't disagree.
It also has let Nebraska defense regroup and get back into this thing.
Brad Tyra is in at defensive end right now, replacing Broderick Thomas, and Hodson on third down and 34 gives the ball to Williams, and he's on the... Whoa, that's a good second effort on the Nebraska side of the field, down to the 42-yard line where Brian Washington finally wrestled him down. But it looked like they had him pinned at about midfield, and he picked up another 8 yards. It'll be, however, 4th down, and LSU will have to punt it away. Matt DeFrank will do the punting, and I made a mistake a while ago. Joe Champion does the snapping for the field goals and points after. The punt snapper is Chris Carrier. Matt DeFrank averaging 42 yards on 46 punts this year. Pops it as high as he can get it. Way up, and they've got a chance to kill it. No, it's in the end zone by a yard. He almost stuck it in the ceiling trying to kill that ball deep, but the man who snapped it, Chris Carrier, was downfield and couldn't down it. Another Sugar Bowl memory from 1977. The Pitt Panthers meeting the Georgia Bulldogs. Pitt under Johnny Majors trying for the national championship. Quarterback Matt Cavanaugh, the MVP. And All-American Tony Dorsett ran for a record 202 yards. Pitt winning the game 27-3 and the national championship. And Nebraska now trailing by a score of 7-0 has the ball at their own 20. And the offensive unit checking to see when and if Keith Jones comes in. He's coming off of a thigh injury. Vaughn Shepard is back from a twisted ankle. And Steve Taylor hands it to Ken Kalin. And the big fullback is across the 30 to the 31. LSU's defensive front The defensive end, Tommy Clapp, 260, a junior of Gretna. Nose guard is Henry Thomas, a 236-pound senior from Houston, Texas. Carl Wilson, the other end, 263 out of Baton Rouge. Ron Sancho, one outside backer at 214 from Avondale. And Eric Hill, a sophomore from Galveston, Texas, at 240 pounds. And it's a first down for Nebraska. Tyrese Knox is the I-back for the Cornhuskers. Taylor gives it to him, and Knox slides past one man, gets up near the 35 for a pickup of about 4. Mike Merla is one of the inside backers for LSU, 225-pound freshman from New Orleans. Nicky Hazard, 212, junior New Orleans. Kevin Guidry, one of the corners, a junior from Lake Charles. James Pearson, the other corner, a junior from New Orleans. Chris Carrier is the weak safety, a junior from Eunice, Louisiana. And Greg Jackson, the strong safety, a sophomore out of Miami, Florida. On second down, Taylor keeps it, turns upfield with it, gets to the 40, and he is a yard or so short of the first down as Ron Sancho, the sophomore from Avondale, puts the hit on it. Taylor getting up, I thought for a moment might be hurt, but just lost his shoe. The Big Ten over the Southwest Conference right now in the third quarter in the Cotton Bowl. The Buckeyes of Ohio State over the Aggies, 21-6. Earlier today, Auburn beat USC 16-7 in the Citrus Bowl. Chains on for the first down measurement, and just short. Tommy Clapp, is that him on the sidelines? Yes, it is. Well, now he's playing in the place of Roland Barbet, who's out because of the steroid problem. And if Clapp is down now, that really leaves LSU thin at that defensive end position.
Well, Clint James would have to come in. Did you see Steve Taylor that time go over and talk to the official just before the measurement? He was saying, hey, look, those guys are coming in. They're hitting me when I'm on the ground. Greg Jackson, 35, came in and hit me late. Here's Clapp now. Let's see what happened to him. He's in a pretty good little tussle right there with Tom Welter. It's tough to tell. It looks like his legs may have gotten tangled up under there.
Well, it can be no more than 3 inches here on third down. Wouldn't be surprised to see Taylor keep it and just go straight ahead, and he does, and he'll have the first down. So it'll be at the 41-yard line, first down for the Huskers, and another penalty flag on the field. My goodness, the laundry is all over the place.
That came late, too, when everything was piled up.
That's personal foul against LSU.
These two teams have been talking to each other through the newspapers for the last 2 weeks, and they haven't been saying very nice things. They're bringing it out now on the field. Good old-fashioned Donnybrook going on.
LSU is leading in the ball game 7-0 with 5:54 to play in the first.
Dead ball, personal foul, defense, first down.
And that's a big number because that puts Nebraska now on the LSU 44-yard line, first down.
LSU was rolling and has now had 3 penalties that have taken them completely out of their rhythm.
And Nebraska is beginning to pick up some. Taylor rides it down the line. Goes outside with it to Tyrese Knox, and Knox butts heads with 2 Tigers and picks up 2 yards. Greg Jackson, the strong safety, stringing it out, the first man to hit him.
I tell you what, Chris Carrier, number 11, came flying over there, too. LSU's defense has really rallied around the adversity it's had this year. This defense brought back 10 starters from a team last year that had a solid defense. But then Michael Brooks went down. Barbet is banned from this football game, and they've all rallied around each other. Now they're running to the football and just flying, trying to get helmets on the ball carriers.
George Henriquez right now is in the ball game at that defensive end position for LSU, replacing Clapp. Second down and 8. Knox goes up the middle. I'll tell you one thing about Knox. He does not mind a little collision, does he? He puts that helmet in there and just hammers after it.
Tyrese Knox isn't small either. He's 5'10", 215 pounds. He started only one other game. That's when Keith Jones set out the Iowa State game with that badly injured thumb. Ran for 126 yards, 26 carries that day. So he knows the difference between come here and sickle.
Say what? Third down, 4. Knox again. Won't get it. He's nailed down right at the 35. And the guy that did the nailing was Nicky Hazard, inside linebacker. Bapp is now coming back at the defensive end position for LSU.
Taylor's reading all the way now. He'll reverse pivot, pitch it back. See, he read that defense before the snap, got the ball back quickly to Knox, and he just powered his way off that left side. 4th and a yard, maybe. Not even that.
They'll go on 4th down. This is Knox. And he will have his first down, from judging from the mark of the official on this side. Nicky Hazard again was there, number 48, giving him a hard time, but it looked like the lunge was enough. Now number 69, Tom Welter, the big tackle on the right side for Nebraska, hobbles off the field, dragging an ankle, so they lose him for just a moment. Brad Johnson comes in to replace him at that position. Chains are called onto the field, but it appears he has his first down. Does. So the Cornhuskers squeezing out a first down on the football at the LSU 34. 3:15 to go, first quarter. Taylor drops it. Covered by Vaughn Shepard, the wingback coming across. Taylor seemingly stumbled coming off the snap, dropped the ball, and it just happened his wingback was in motion and going in the right direction at the right time.
I think one of the problems was on the fake. He put it on the hip, faked the ball, left it on the hip, and it got knocked out of his hands. Watch this now. Here's the fake. See, the ball gets caught in there. It just gets knocked out.
There's a loss of 3 yards. Ball comes back to the 37. Second down and 13. This is Knox, and he gets back to about the 34, the original line of scrimmage. It'll be third down and 10, and let's join Al Troutwig.
Keith, I'm about to do something you can't do at the cotton and you can't do at the rose. I'm with Dan Duplantis, who runs a sugar plantation here. We've got some sugar cane. Dan, how long has sugar been a part of Louisiana?
Almost 2 centuries.
2 centuries. Okay, let me try this. Keith, it's sweet. I got a bag of sugar here, so I guess you'd call this sugar-free, because Dan gave it to me. Back to you.
I used to put that in the creek to keep it cool while I was working on the farm. Third down and 10. Swarming defense, pressure on Taylor, and his pass is incomplete. And boy, did they come after him. So Mike Archer said that they were going to load their weapons and go after him and frustrate him if they could.
Well, emotionally, LSU is on a high and has 2 other factors in its favor. Being a 4-point underdog in Nebraska, they don't like that, and then playing Bill Arnsparger's farewell game. Now, look, they've got unleashing a defensive scheme here that is just designed to put pressure all over Steve Taylor, and they're doing it. They're getting into space. It's exactly what Mike Archer wanted to do, and it's causing a lot of problems.
Vaughn Shepard shaken up for the 2nd time in the ball game. They're trying to pump him up, and looks like he may have to leave the ball game. And here comes a field goal try now from Dale Klein, and this one is man-sized. It is 51 yards. The ball's going to be put down back at the 12. Clete Blakeman will hold it with 1:40 to go. The longest of the career of Dale Klein is 44 yards. But remember now, they're inside the Louisiana Superdome. So Mother Nature, the natural impact of climate, can't impact the flight of the ball.
He's 0 for 1, 50 yards plus.
tell you what, though, Dale Klein is a fine kicker. He holds all of Nebraska's field goals and extra point records. And he does have a strong leg, and it's indoors.
Art Blakeman's going to put it down. Mark Cooper's going to snap it. Everything works at this end, except at the other end, it is left and wide. And no good. So Nebraska is turned away. LSU gets the ball back with 1:35 to play in the first quarter, leading 7-0. Enjoy him here on ABC. Up the middle goes Harvey Williams, a 205-pounder. Now, see, the reason they like to use Williams in close circumstances sometimes is because Williams weighs in at 205, while Sam Martin is at 165.
Watch what happens in the middle this time. Now, here's Pete, Lawrence Pete. He came in and replaced Noonan, and he gets his lunch in there. But it's not his fault. Albergamo had a lot of help. They call that play 26 Jack. Center Nacho Albergamo and right guard Eric Andolsek double team the nose guard, and right tackle John Hazard, tight end Brian Kitchen double team the left defensive end and run it in there.
Does that mean jack him out of the way? 2nd down and 7. Hodgson gets heat, and he is decked back on the 31. So Nebraska gets to Tom Hodgson for the first time today. And we're winding down toward the end of the first quarter. There's Mike Archer, who becomes the head coach of LSU when this game is done. Bill Arnsparger goes on to become the athletic director at the University of Florida. And speaking of people making a change, we'll have a conversation live with Ray Perkins. Ray here in New Orleans came down specifically to visit with us at halftime. So we'll talk to the man who is leaving the coaching job at Alabama. On 3rd down at about 13, Hodgson rolls it out, plants and lets it fly. Good up to the 48-yard line, and the ball is caught by Brian Kitchen, the tight end, and it's good for a first down. And a penalty flag.
Boy, Hodgson makes this thing go. I told you he's an all-around athlete. He scored 27 points a game in basketball in high school. He can run, he can play, he can scramble. Gets outside. Now Kitchen has already gone all the way to the sidelines and sees he's in trouble and starts skating back toward him in the middle. See him coming back into that hook zone right there and making the catch. Brian Kitchen. He's the 2nd leading receiver behind Wendell Davis on this team.
They're going to bring it back. We've had a bunch of flags.
Yeah, most of them have been against LSU. Still a good play by Kitchen, though.
Ineligible receiver, downfield offense, 3rd down.
That's 4 flags totaling 45 yards against the Tigers.
Here's the shot Hodgson took after he released the ball.
First quarter's over. So after 15 minutes in the Louisiana Superdome, the USF&G Sugar Bowl, it's 7-0 LSU. Relatively speaking, it's fair to suggest the Cornhuskers had a nap in the first quarter. But look out for them, because this is a team that almost always generates momentum as the game goes on. And let's see now, LSU threatening at times to self-destruct after getting out to an early lead. And they have the ball 3rd and 19 way back on their end of the field. And Hodgson in serious trouble finally unloads it and gets rid of it. Hodgson now gives a whack to the back of number 99, Neil Smith, who was pursuing him. You've got an LSU player down on the field. And we're checking now to see if something may have happened to Danny Noonan. He has not been in there the last 2 or 3 times. The man down is Eric Andolsek. You see him now getting up. Eric walking pretty much off the field on his own. Big 270-pounder. Coming in to punt is Matt DeFrank. It'll be his 2nd punt of the day. His first one good for 42 yards. So Nebraska should get the ball back in pretty good field position as we begin the second quarter.
Hodgson showed me something. He's only 180 pounds. He took a swing at Neil Smith. Smith's 6'6", 250.
I don't know what it was, though, whether it was courage or something else. No pressure on DeFrank, but he can't get it to twist out and turn over for him. And trying a return is Rod Smith, wide receiver for the Cornhuskers, and a penalty flag goes flying one more time. Up on about the 38-yard line. That was a 40-yard punt and a 4-yard return by Smith.
Not hard to see that foul coming. Big old number 89, Ronnie Halliburton of LSU, came in late with a clip. Or a personal foul hitting from behind.
So that will hurt the Tigers, and that's the 5th flag against them.
Okay, watch 89 come in here, Halliburton. He'll come flying in from the right of your screen, I think. Oh, here it is right here. Play is way over. He came in and hit him from behind, hit him high.
Personal foul by the kicking team. First down.
Right now, LSU is helping Nebraska as the ball comes to the 46-yard line on the Tiger side. And in at tailback is, or I-back if you like, is Keith Jones, teamed in there with Micah Heibel at fullback. So Jones is in for the first time, but it is Heibel carrying the ball, the fullback, and he'll pick up almost 3 yards as you see the stats from the first period of play.
Look at the right-hand column under LSU. Passing yards, 52. Nebraska, 0. Now that accounts for the 86 total yards for LSU. The story for Nebraska is Steve Taylor. He's run the ball for 3 yards, and he hasn't completed a pass.
It is 2nd down and 7. The ball to the fullback. Heibel never saw it. LSU's Norman Jefferson jumps on it, and the Huskers turn it over.
The ball was supposed to go to Jones, the tailback, but he was reading the defensive end. He's looking at the defensive end to see if he's going to commit himself, and he just instinctively pitched back when he saw the red jersey. The red jersey wasn't Jones. It was the fullback. Watch this. All right, now watch the eyes. Taylor looking for the read, then pitches back instinctively. But it's the fullback and not Keith Jones, number 6, who was supposed to get the fullback. He never saw it coming. LSU has the football. See that? He saw the red jersey peripherally and just got the ball out there.
And the Tigers have it. First down at their own 45. Eddie Fuller's in the backfield with Sam Martin. Tom Hodson, the quarterback. The ball is pitched to Fuller. Fuller trying for the corner, gets almost nothing out of it, and Danny Noonan is back in the middle of the defensive front for Nebraska. Eddie Fuller is a 205-pound freshman from Leesville, Louisiana. And just that quickly, Eddie is out of there, and Harris is back in. Just beginning the 2nd quarter of play, LSU in its very first possession took the ball downfield for a touchdown.
Danny Noonan's been out taking a little breather. He's in a battle in there with Albergamo.
Hodson back to throw. Ball is caught by the tight end Kinchin on the Nebraska 48-yard line. That is about 3.5, close to 4 yards short of a first down.
And another flag. LSU's upset, so it's going to be against the Tigers.
That's got to be 6 against them.
It is. 6 penalties. They're killing themselves.
You don't want to keep messing around with Nebraska because sooner or later they're going to get it together.
Oh, that's exactly right. This is a strong team. This is a team which finished 2nd in total defense in the nation. It finished in rushing offense 2nd in the nation. You can't let a team like that take advantage of you by making your own mistakes.
70 yards in penalties.
Offense, 2nd down.
I'll tell you who the holding was on, too. It was on Danny Noonan. They came triple teamed him that time. They tackled him down low, held him up high.
Since the opening possession producing the touchdown, 7-0 lead for LSU, it's just been a succession of mistakes by both teams. And it's 2nd down and 20. Hodson will go out of bounds with that one, thrown over everybody, threw it in the general direction of Roger McGee. Brian Washington, the defender. And we're at 12 minutes and 54 seconds to play in the first half of the USF&G Sugar Bowl Classic from the Louisiana Superdome in New Orleans.
Keith, it's becoming very evident now that LSU is extremely dependent on Hodson. He not only controls the tempo of the game, but he controls the psyche of his team with his leadership and overall play.
Well, he got Davis early on. Davis has been wandering around out there getting a lot of attention, but he has not seen the ball lately, and they give the ball to Sam Martin. And the junior out of New Orleans, a darter, is up to about the 40, and it'll bring up 4th down, well short of the 1st down, and they'll have to punt. Matt DeFrank out on the field with punts of 42 and 40, and the deep people for Nebraska: Rod Smith, wide receiver, 88. Dana Brinson, wingback, 33. No pressure. Oh, yes, there is. Ball is loose, and the Huskers chasing it, and can you believe that? There were 2 Nebraska people back there, nobody in the world around them, and the ball got away, and LSU covered it. Dante Wiley. They had a chance to pluck that thing out of the air and didn't get it. But Huskers certainly are going to have made themselves a break here.
Low snap, took him over an extra step. Now here comes the pressure on the right side.
Yeah, but he had time to punt.
He had it, but he saw the jersey, Keith, under peripheral vision again. He didn't know how close it was, and it spooked him. And he all of a sudden tried to cheat to the right side, and the ball got away from him.
He had time to punt and just got flushed out of it. And Nebraska now making its own break as Taylor comes down the line with it. Tries to turn it back the other way and does. And will eventually wind up with about 2 yards after all of that scrambling as Steve Rihage makes the tackle for LSU.
I tell you, that's a critical error. You're right, he had time to punt, but he made a bad mistake. He got spooked. He saw the pressure, saw the red jersey coming out of the corner of his eye, and he pulled it down and tried to take it away.
Well, you've got to try to get that thing out of there. And
DeFrank panicked.
He did. 2nd down and 8. This is Brinson. Whoa, what a cut. Penalty flag, 1st down Nebraska, down about the 12, but look out for the flag.
Yeah, this time I think they're going to get Kevin Leitner, the offensive tackle, for holding. Yes, sir, 57.
Back to the punt we go.
All right, now the first thing that happens, it's a low snap, and he has to get out of his stride and go over to the left side. So he's that much closer now to the outside contained man. Now here comes Wiley. See, and he looks and sees that red jersey coming, and he panics and pulls it down, Keith.
Dante Wiley, free safety sophomore, was number 24 coming from the outside. And I just couldn't believe it. At least take a whack at that thing. The penalty moves the football back to the 30-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and 15 now for the Cornhuskers. So both teams playing very ragged football here in the 1st half. Taylor keeps it. He really didn't offer any kind of a passing motion as he picked up about 5 yards on that carry. He had Rod Smith going downfield, and he had Todd Milliken on the other side, but neither man was open.
See, now I disagree with you. I think Smith came clear, and I think Taylor right now is trying to do too much by himself. It was a waggle play where the motion goes one way and he comes back the other behind 2 linemen. Smith was there, but he never even looked at him. He just tucked it away and started running. I think Taylor is frustrated a little bit.
It's 3rd down and 10 here at the 25. Straight back this time. Now he's got a man open, but he goes to the other man. He had Tom Banderas, number 87, the tight end, open up for him at about the 13-yard line, but he chose to go into the corner to Schnitzler and couldn't get the ball to it.
You're right, because Schnitzler went deep and went into that corner and took all the help with him. He took the cornerback and the safety on that side, and Banderas came underneath and was open.
And so Dale Klein comes into the ball game, trying to get Nebraska on the board. in the Sugar Bowl. And LSU now will call a timeout. Klein tried one a little earlier in the ball game, but was wide left at 51 yards. This try will be from 42 yards. 10:05 to go in the first half. Dale Klein now with a 42-yard field goal try. He's 10 for 10 inside the 45. So his odds are pretty good right here. Blakeman gets it down. And he hooks it up and good. And so the Cornhuskers are on the board. A 7-3 ball game. And here's Al Trautwig.
Eighth, I'm with John Devon, who's the trainer of Mike the Fourth, the mascot of LSU. Mike, what kind of a cat is he?
He is just one mean cat.
Oh, boy. All right. We'll take you right in there and just show you how mean Mike is.
No, thank you.
Oh, that's okay. Okay.
Hey, Al.
Yeah. Oh, I'm 20 yards away, guys.
Nice kitty. Nice kitty.
Wait till you see Al going out in the bayou looking for Amos Moses at halftime.
Well, I tell you what, my 4 little ones at home, if they see that, they're going to want me to bring that little kitty home.
Yeah, sure they will.
They'd give him a pretty good tussle.
From the 35 now, Klein will kick off for Nebraska. The Huskers on the board at 7-3. LSU leads with Harvey Williams and Eddie Fuller, the deep backs for the Tigers. Or, if you like, the Bayou Bengals. Good hanger. Williams, 6-yard line. Pretty good little cut right there. And it was worth about another 8 yards for him as he brings it back up to the 26 where Klein brings him down, and there's another Husker hurt on the play. As we mentioned a little while ago, Ray Perkins has come down to visit with us at halftime, and we'll talk about his departure from Alabama and his move to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And Al Trautwig, as we noted, will be on the Bayou, and Becky Dixon will report on the Hayes Scholar Athletes of 1986. I thought it was number 53 or 93. It's John Marco, the defensive end, number 93. And so we've got a timeout right now for the injured player with 9:53 to go in the first half. For me, one of the great college football games of all time was played in the 1979 Sugar Bowl. Penn State ranked number 1, Alabama number 2. A memorable goal line stand by Alabama late in the ball game, the Tide winning 14-7 and claiming the national championship. And linebacker Barry Krause, who made the hit on that play, was named the MVP. John Marco now off the field and still shaken up. Big guys get going fast on these rugs. The velocity is so swift. Oftentimes something has to give. This is Williams showing some of his speed and coming out to about the 28-yard line for LSU. And he's going to be 7 yards to the good on that carry with 9:35 to play in the first half.
Williams runs the 40 in 4.37 seconds. He runs the 100 in 9.4 seconds. He's got those fast twitch muscle fibers we've talked about. Another one of those guys that can hit the light switch and be in bed before it's dark. That's quick.
Oh, me.
2 years.
They get the 33-yard line. 2nd down and 3. Well, I'll tell you, there's nothing there. It's big Chris Bachman loaded up on him, the 265-pound senior from Kansas City. If you let Bachman have a crack, he'll whip you. He's about as quick as anybody you're going to see in that particular posture, and watch him fire right through there. And he is one rough customer on that side of the defensive line.
Does a good job, finesses his way as well as powers his way in there. But the rest of that offensive line did an outstanding job. One breakdown that time to Bachman.
Ball on the 30 exactly. They've got to go to the 36 for the first down. And Hudson has all day. Gets his pass into the hands of Williams. He pulls it in to the 40 and picks up a first down for LSU. I want to tell you, that's great protection.
It's outstanding protection by an offensive line that was pretty much maligned last year. Took a lot of beatings from the media saying it wasn't a very good offensive line, and now it's all pulled together this year. Nacho Albergamo's the guy in the middle, gets a lot of help this time, rides Noonan right out of there. They give Hudson plenty of protection. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Nebraska was challenging Hudson that time to throw deep. They bunched 10 guys up, and they only kept Siebler, the safety, back alone.
Eddie Fuller in the backfield with Williams, and Hudson rolls it out, gets time, delivers it again on the numbers. It goes to Fuller out of the backfield, pickup of 8 yards on the carry. To follow up on what you just said, I haven't seen any members of the media trying to beat a block lately. It's easy to sit upstairs and pick away.
Yeah, you're right about that.
7 minutes and 45 seconds. Play in the first half. The ball is just short of the 48-yard line. Call it 2nd down and 2 for LSU. They lead Nebraska 7-3. Mickey Harris is back in with Williams. That's Harris in motion. And Williams has it. And he got a block on the corner, leverages it out into the open, and picks up a big first down all the way down to the Nebraska 33.
Cutback he makes now. Siebler is the safety for Nebraska. He comes up, he's got containment on the outside, but he gets kicked out. And just then Williams cuts it back inside and cuts against the grain and makes a big gain out of what could have been just a 4-yard pickup.
Sam Martin in now, replacing Williams now as Harvey comes out for a breather. LSU threatening now for the second time in the ball game. Team seemingly settling down a little bit. This is Martin, and a fair-sized collision at the 32 as Leroy Etienne, a sophomore at Nebraska, who comes from New Iberia, Louisiana. Cleet Bakeman warming up here. It's a possibility that Cleet could come in for a couple of series because Steve Taylor has simply not moved the team so far.
Well, he struggled, and when he struggles, he's got a history of getting down on himself a little bit. Gets frustrated, takes himself out of the game mentally.
2nd down, 9. This is Martin with the ball. A little quick reverse trying to go the other way. You saw him line up as a halfback. Come in motion this way, then curl it back into a reverse, but Nebraska ate him up. And there's a loss on the play.
Brad Tyer's a little bit shaken up. He made a whale of a defensive play, though. He's the defensive end on that side.
He's also holding his wrist.
Well, that's what I say. He was banged up on the play itself. But the play went away from him, and he still maintained that outside leverage. Now, when the play goes away from you and you're the backside end, you've got to straddle the outside leg of that running back so that if he does come back or anything comes back your way and you're in position to make the play. Now watch, he doesn't run himself out. He doesn't try to over pursue it. He just hangs out there, stays at home, and turns it back inside where Danny Noonan can help him out. It's an outstanding play by a defensive end.
I guess it may have been his elbow because it looked like they were trying to bend it or maybe work it back into, could conceivably be a dislocation or a hyperextension, one or the other, as Brad has to leave the ball game. Taylor in the game, you were talking about him a while ago as we watched Blakeman warm up. He's produced 9 yards running, nothing passing, and he's fumbled 1 time. So Steve's having a tough afternoon. Right now, Tom Hudson looking at 3rd down and about 14. Well, they haven't looked at Davis in a long time. He caught 80 passes this season. Down the sidelines and out of bounds. Eddie Fuller, number 30, swinging. Mickey Harris, rather, swinging out of the backfield, had the possibility of being a successful receiver on the play, as did McGee. But having run for his life for a time, Tom Hudson could not deliver the ball to him.
I can't understand why they're not going to Wendell Davis more. That time they actually came and flowed to the right side, all play action, sprint out, roll, and Davis was on the other side of the field. I mean, they're actually going away from him now.
They're setting him up. Ray Perkins did that a lot this year with Al Bell. He'd let him wander around for a while, and then bingo, 6. Ball back near the 37 with 5:49 to go in the first half. It's 7-3 LSU, the SEC champions, leading Nebraska. Siebler is playing center field right now for the Huskers as Matt DeFrank has come on, but with Siebler back there, he is not the normal return man. And I'm not at all sure that Tom Osborne and company were convinced at that particular time LSU was going to punt the ball. But after this 5-yard penalty of too much time, Dana Brinson will come in, and they will try to return it. It is now 21-12.
Dead ball,
Ohio
delay,
State
offense, 4th down.
leading Texas A&M in the Cotton Bowl. The Buckeyes had A&M shut down in the early going of that game. And the other game played already today, the Citrus Bowl, where Auburn defeated USC 16-7. All right, DeFrank now will hit it up around his 48-yard line. Brinson, the speedster from Valdosta, Georgia, back to return it. Good kick. First one, he's really gotten the spin off and turnover for him, and angled it a bit for the corner, but couldn't find it. It'll come out to the 20, and it goes in the books as a 41-yard punt. Is in at quarterback, the junior from Norfolk, Nebraska. Not a bad passer. Not quite as quick as Taylor. But with him in the lineup, it figures that they'll go back to more of their power game. And here Keith Jones carries on the first snap, picks up 3 yards. Jones weighs 190. Been the I-back for most of the season as of when Doug DuBose came down with that knee injury in practice, and Jones had the job. But now he's trying to fight off a rather severe thigh bruise. And the Huskers need his speed. 2nd down and 7. The one time the fullback Kalen carried the ball, he picked up 7 yards. But he's only carried it 1 time. This is Jones handing on a reverse to Brinson. It is played very well by LSU. You want to see it played perfectly? How about that number 54, Eric Hill? Eric Hill is the man who picked up at that position when Michael Brooks, the All-American, was hurt. And you can't play it any better than that.
No, you're right. Here's another linebacker, and he doesn't overrun the play. Now, see, he sees the reverse coming. Now he comes on up. Now, this is a guy that weighs 240 pounds going against a 4'4" runner. He just breaks down. See him? He just drops that tail and keeps his leverage. Never goes up too high and commits himself. Kept that leverage underneath, kept that low center of gravity. Tucked that tail, came up and made the play inside out.
All back on the 16-yard line. 3rd down and 14 for the Huskers. Offense struggling today against a swarming LSU defense, and Blakeman could get flagged for throwing it away, and he will. That's grounding. See, I think the first flag is holding, and the second one is grounding. Now they're going to call the grounding. Take your choice.
Boy, pressure came from everywhere, but especially from Thomas right there, 96. Now, Blakeman is a solid alternate all year to Taylor. Matter of fact, in the one game that he started against Kansas, he had 8 of 12 passes for 94 yards, and he's a very composed guy. He was trying to think about unloading the ball, but he just couldn't get it out in the ground of a receiver.
By the offense, loss of down, 4th down.
Or in the area of a receiver. Now watch this. Blakeman can feel the pressure coming. Drops back a little bit behind the tackle. Here comes the pressure. Tries to get out of the pocket, and he goes to throw it and just can't get it to the area of a receiver.
We've got a total of 10 penalties in the game. Out of the end zone, Crooker can't get it to turn over. LSU's got good field position already. The ball is taken by Norman Jefferson, a defensive back, ball rolling around, but the ground may have been there before the ball came loose, and that's what it looks to me like what they're going to call. 37-yard punt. LSU is at the Nebraska 28-yard line. 3 minutes, 37 seconds to go in the first half. And LSU leading off the first quarter, first possession touchdown march, 7-3. Opportunity looking him right in the face right here, though.
Look for Davis.
And Martin moves up into a wing, and Hodgson. Now, this is what Hodgson had trouble with early on in the season. Changing plays, and oftentimes was getting caught with that 25-second clock expiring, and I think that's exactly what happened here. Let's go to Al for a moment, and we'll document what's happened here, and we come back.
A bunch of people here have been partying since last night, having a good time. Let me show you what they've taught me.
Your voice changes when you do this, Keith, and of course the people here have a very good seat because they're able to spin around and watch the game on television, even though they may look like they're in the dark. Back to you.
It's even better when you finished your first Magnum. It's a procedure call.
We'll reset the game clock at 3 minutes, 34 seconds. First down.
Against LSU, and it comes back to the 33. And you heard Wendell Shelton say, reset your game clock at 3:34. All right, we're ready to go. Clock it all, and it's first down and 15.
Nebraska defense is cheating up. Coming up close to the line of scrimmage.
Martin's got no place to go. Even with his great speed, he had no place to go, and he's going to lose another yard back to the 34. And the clock rolls along.
Well, I tell you what, Charlie McBride, hey, that defensive unit really has a feel for when LSU is going to run the ball. They come up, they cheat, they take the corners, and they bunch up in there.
That's what we have for you at halftime. And we'll get to Ray Perkins quickly at halftime. I know a lot of you are interested in what he has to say. Ball back on the 34 now, where it is second down and 16. Again, Hodgson has a ton of time, throws underneath to Davis. Davis had gone down, curled back, started looking to help his quarterback, who was coming back to the ball, makes the catch around the 24. There's a penalty flag back up around the 40.
Davis comes off of there now. He doesn't have sprinter speed. He's got average speed, but he runs his routes. He's a very sophisticated receiver and finds the open areas. But the holding is going to bring it back now. Eric Andrusak got caught way back there behind Hodgson, holding on to a defender.
That's 9 penalty flags against LSU and a total of 13 in the ball game against both teams. Wendell's going to have to join after.
Holding by the offense. Repeat, second down.
90 yards in penalties. Ooh, that's a load.
Ball is now back on the 44. They have to go to the 20 to the 18 for a first down. And that is not the route to take. That highway was closed in a hurry by Lee Jones. Lee Jones might well have started, but he got into a vocal contest down here with some folks. I raised that question yesterday as to whether or not that was why he was not starting. The assistant coaches told me no, that Neil Smith had just simply won the job.
He was just trying to be honest. He said, I don't think LSU is as good as South Carolina, which we played. I don't think they're as good as Colorado. I don't think Hodson's that good. You don't do that before coming in and playing the Tigers.
You do. You better do better than they're doing. Hodgson again, a lot of time, goes deep with it. It's picked off. Intercepted by Brian Washington, the big, strong safety from Highland Springs, Virginia. And Nebraska has turned away LSU, taking the ball first down at their own 28. And you've got 1:42 to play in the first half, with the Tigers leading the Huskers 7-3.
In an air-conditioned building, this is what the Sugar Bowl looked like. Tulane Stadium on Willow Street on the campus of Tulane. Well, they've torn down the old stadium after they finally paid for it in full, and they put up a student dorm. Before Tulane Stadium was here, there was a sugar plantation here. And need I explain that that's why it was called the Sugar Bowl? Well, now Willow Street is quieter. It's not the busiest place in New Orleans every New Year's Day, and the Tulane campus is quieter for it all.
.142 to play. And Nebraska with the ball, and Steve Taylor is back in at quarterback for the Huskers, rolling it out, unloads this one, a sharp shot up the sidelines. The pass is caught just beyond the 43 by Rod Smith. And so Taylor, after sitting out a series, comes back in and zeroes in on his target. To give you some idea, after you see this replay, I'll tell you something about LSU's problems.
Gave Taylor a chance to settle down, come to the sidelines, just start seeing the game from a broader view. This time he puts the ball right there, perfectly thrown to Rod Smith. You only need 1 foot in. He gets that. He rides out of bounds, completion for Nebraska.
The Cornhuskers working on first down. Taylor again back to throw. Again goes well with it to Banderas, the tight end, and Big Tom is across the 40 and out of bounds at the 38. So Nebraska now starting to move it. LSU's offense has produced 109 yards in this first half. They have been penalized 90 yards, and they've had 2 turnovers. And now all of a sudden, with Taylor getting that different perspective, has come in and moved his team bang to a first down at the 38.
Shows you why Tom Osborne's been so successful over the years. Very wise move. Take the youngster out. He is young. Let him cool down a little bit.
Again, his pass is away, and he had his man, but he overthrew him. Rod Smith, the wide receiver, on the sidelines, but Taylor just looped it into the crowd. Let's join Al for a second.
Okay, Keith, the Nebraska trainers have been busy. Number 93, John Marco, has a strained knee. They're going to check that out at the half. He may be back. Number 83, Brad Tyre, has played his last game for Nebraska. The senior with a sprained left shoulder is out for the game, as is Von Shepard, number 2, who left earlier. He has a sprained knee and is also out for the game. Back to you.
Well, that's 3 big losses. Minute and 26 seconds to go first half. Second down 10. And Taylor gets it away quickly. The pass is caught by the fullback, Ken Kalen. And Kalen slapped out of bounds by Ron Sanchez. And it takes some slapping to get Kalen out of bounds, because old Kenny is a 225-pound tough nut. It'll be third down, close to 4.
See, Taylor has come back in now, and he's hit 3 out of 4 passes. This is the guy the coaches feel can become the best quarterback ever at Nebraska. He's known starter. Now he's just trying to live up to his potential. It's tough when Billy is one of the greatest ever.
This is Tyrese Knox, and he will have the first down, stopping the clock as he is knocked out of bounds with 1:16 to go in the first half. And the Huskers now getting down into a threatening posture.
See, they're playing Nebraska football now. They're being tough, hard-nosed. The line's firing out. They're taking control of the line of scrimmage. Taylor now seems composed again. They're starting to pass, which loosens up things for the run.
Hard to believe, but that's Ken Kalen's first catch from his fullback position of the year. First pass he's caught. Ball is down near the 26 of LSU. Taylor bounces this one in front of Dana Brinson. Brinson's going to have to go the rest of the way at that wingback position because Von Shepard is hurt. Now you've got 1:13 to play in the first half. We have a recorded comment we got yesterday from Tom Osborne about the rumor that Bob Devaney might step into either retirement or emeritus position, and Tom might step up to the AD's job at Nebraska. Says it's not so. But if time allows today, we're going to play that brief comment for you because he is most definitive about it. Second down and 10. This is Kalen, the fullback, down to the 20. And he is 3.5 yards short of the first down with 1:07 to play in the first half, and the Cornhuskers spend the timeout now. They have 1 remaining.
F&G Sugar Bowl, this ABC Sports exclusive, is being brought to you by the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. By McDonald's, it's a good time for the great taste of McDonald's. and by USF&G Insurance. USF&G covers the USA.
Only 1:07 remaining in the first half of play. Nebraska has the ball just short of the LSU 20. It is third down and about 4. Steve Taylor to pass. Steps away from pressure. Look out. He's got his first down as he's inside the 15 and close to the 12. Once he stepped away from that first wave of pressure, with his size and quickness, he's a threat to score.
He is quick, and he's an outstanding runner. You know, he broke all the rushing records of Marcus Allen in high school at San Diego Lincoln. 3,211 yards.
First down Huskers from the LSU 12. They trail 7-3. The pass, penalty flag.
That's a good call. An outstanding call. Kevin Guidry, the cornerback on that side, bumped him before the football got there.
Rob Schnitzler, the intended receiver, he had come down from his wide position and slanted it sharply to the post. And you'll see the collision.
There's the play action, the reverse pivot. He throws it. Now here comes Guidry, will bump the receiver right there before the ball ever gets there. Again, the play set up perfectly. It's just a quick post pattern to Schnitzler. Schnitzler gets bumped, has no chance to catch the football. The ball was well thrown, but the bump came before he got there.
And that makes it a 1st and goal, Nebraska. 2.5 yards out. Taylor keeps it. Touchdown. Huskers of Nebraska finally got some offense going. LSU continuing to make mistakes, hurting themselves, and Nebraska has gone to the lead.
Steve Taylor, the first sophomore quarterback in Tom Osborne's 14 years to start at quarterback at the beginning of the season.
The extra point try by Dale Klein. Good. And at 39 seconds to go in the first half, the Cornhuskers have gone to the lead over the Tigers 10-7. Now here's that interview I was talking about a moment ago. Tom Osborne's comment about what his future is as far as he's concerned at Nebraska.
And I really have no desire right now to be an athletic director. I would like to be a coach as long as I can be. I feel good. I mean, there's some people don't think I'm maybe smart enough to be a coach, but I'd like to at least try to get smarter if I can and stay with it for a number of years. So, you know, the problem is there's so many denials by coaches. You know, I'm not interested in that job, and then they go take it, and they say, I'm not going to retire, and then a week later they retire. And I hope I'm the kind of person that says what he's going to do. And if there was something to it, I would admit it, but there is absolutely nothing to that.
Rumor. That's what it amounts to.
I tell you, I don't know who they are that say he's not smart enough to coach, because that was a whale of a call down there on the goal line to keep Taylor on the reverse and come in and score.
Also a PhD, educational psychology, and I like it. Always have. Good, solid citizen. There's another one right there, and I'm sorry to see him leaving college football. I'm sorry to see Ray Perkins leaving college football.
Tell you something about this guy, Bill Arnsparger. The graduation rate of the football team was about 45% when he took over. Now it's up into the 70s.
Brought a bigger boot. Here's the kickoff by Dale Klein. High hanger. And at the 2-yard line, it's Harvey Williams. He hands the ball back. It goes to the speedster, Derek Salisbury. And Salisbury running the reverse out to about the 25 with 31 seconds to play in the first half. Nebraska leading LSU 10-7.
Here's Taylor on the touchdown. Came into this game with a healthy rushing average of over 4 yards. This is his 10th touchdown of the year. Now, before this run and before this drive, he had 9 yards. This drive, he's got 48 total yards and the touchdown.
So the Tigers now with just 31 seconds hand the ball off to the tailback. And that's number 22, Williams. And, you know, for a 205-pounder, he's scary. He's a little scooter like Hilliard.
He was in high school this time last year.
Yeah, he was.
Now he's in the Sugar Bowl playing Nebraska on national television. That's some step. But he's handling the pressure very well. As a matter of fact, he's already being projected as a can't-miss pro.
Let the clock run out. Ray Perkins will be our special guest at halftime in the USFNG Sugar Bowl game. At halftime, it is Nebraska 10 and LSU 7.
Sugar Bowl. This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Hayes Microcomputer Products Incorporated. Say yes to the future with Hayes.
We're about ready to go with the second half of play in the USFNG Sugar Bowl game, the 53rd renewal of this postseason classic. The one factor that just literally jumps at you when you consider what went on in the first half is this. Nebraska, 4 penalty flags, 42 yards. LSU, 10 penalty flags for 100 yards.
Sum it up very easily and succinctly. It was a terribly sloppy first half on both sides of the ball, specifically on LSU's side. I'm sure Coach Arnsparker talked to the players at halftime about it and them killing themselves. Look at the right-hand column. 10 penalties, 100 yards, as Keith mentioned. Now the turnovers, that LSU turnover should really be just one because the other was on a punt and the ball was going to turn over anyway, and you don't count that as a turnover. But it still gave Nebraska great field position and led to their score.
LSU will kick off to Nebraska. The Huskers close the first half now with momentum as they went down the field and rolled it in the end zone. So let's see what happens as we start the second half of play. The kick goes to Rod Smith. And Rod is up to about the 22 where he is slammed down. The individual stats now in the first half of these.
Taylor 3 for 8, 39 yards, and of course those 3 came after he had been pulled and yanked to the sidelines where they could talk to him and settle him down a little bit. Hodson's having a great day. 5 for 9, 69 yards aren't impressive, but I'll tell you what's impressive is he never gets sacked. He gets rid of the ball and has great vision. Defensive stats right here. Pryor, boy, that's impressive. Coming off the hardship he's had, come in and play well.
That's Henry Thomas, the nose guard, with the lead in tackles for LSU. It's Tyrese Knox and Ken Kalen now lined up behind Steve Taylor in the Nebraska backfield. And they open up with the fullback Kalen going from the 22 out over the 25 for at least 3 yards on that carry. Here's an idea of what happened for the Huskers in the first half, and it wasn't terribly impressive until they got down into the last couple of minutes of that first half. And then it became impressive because LSU just kept self-destructing and giving Nebraska opportunities. And here in the second half, opening moments, it's 2nd down and 7. From the 26, 10-7, Nebraska lead. Taylor, a little pop over here to Brinson. 2 people after him, and they get him on the 30. So he's at least 2 yards short of his first down as Kevin Guidry wouldn't let him get loose. The junior out of Lake Charles. And the young man from Valdosta, Georgia, going back into the Nebraska huddle.
Von Shepard's hurt. Dana Brinson, number 33, the man that just made that catch, took his place. Brinson is the leading receiver for the Huskers with 15 catches. He's got 2 here today, and that's an outstanding play. That's something that Taylor saw on the defense. He checked off, audibilized, and then just got it out to him on the quick flanker screen.
They need 2 on 3rd down. Taylor gets it up to the 35. Michigan out to an 8-0 lead over Arizona State, first quarter of the Rose Bowl. Game out in Pasadena.
I think Tom Osborne talked to the team at halftime and said, all right, let's go out and play Nebraska football now. Let's bang this thing right down the field. Nebraska ranks 2nd nationally in rushing offense, while LSU ranks 27th nationally trying to stop the run.
And the Huskers first down at the 35. This is Brinson. Can't get around the corner. Number 35, Greg Jackson, strong safety right there. With Keith Jones laboring with a bit of in recovery time from a rather severe thigh injury, they've lost some of the speed at the I-back position. Tyrese Knox started the game at that position, and you notice the wingbacks, as Brinson leaves now, have been carrying the ball on occasions for the Huskers.
Lost a lot of speed. Keith Jones, the fastest Nebraska player ever.
Knox is in there now. Hawkins is your wingback. Knox has the ball, trying to run behind Kalen, and he does run behind Kalen. In through a block on the corner over there to get him turned. James Pearson, the cornerback, had come up to meet the play, and Kalen took him out of it. And Knox turned it upfield to the 41. The crowd is 76,234 in the Louisiana Superdome for this game. That record is beyond 78,000.
You know, the penalties not only took these teams out of the ball game, but took the crowd out for a long time.
Third down, call it 4. Taylor keeps it, plants and throws back over the middle, and the pass is caught for the tight end Todd Milliken for a first down at the LSU 40-yard line. So Taylor had a terrible beginning. Tom Osborne sat him down for a series. Blakeman came in, and then Taylor came back in after the Blakeman series and put him in the end zone, and he's impressive here in the second half.
He almost did it again, though, Keith, and I think it's when they talked to him on the sidelines. Look, now he's ready to tuck it away and start running before he finds the receiver. Now, it finally goes across the middle, and he finds Milliken open there. It's just floating in the seam, but he almost tucked it away and tried to run too fast again.
Micah Heibel is now in the backfield at fullback from the 40 of LSU. Ball is kept by Taylor. Pressure. Dumps it off. Pass is caught by the tight end, Tom Banderas. And they mark Banderas out of bounds at the 35. So there's a pickoff of 5 yards when it looked like they were going to nail him for a big loss.
Tommy Clapp now, he's trying to impress everybody today, stepping into the position and getting a start. 6'4", 260-pound junior. See him just fight his way up and try to put pressure on Taylor, and he does. Taylor just dumps it off and makes a nice play out of it, but still, it's good pressure by Tommy Clapp.
Second down and 5. Pitches it back to Knox. Knox getting help on the corner, breaks it open. And he can't quite get there. Hanging on to his coattail was Greg Jackson, and Big Tyrese was pumping and straining and struggling and grunting, and he goes down a yard short.
We said Tyrese Knox is 215 pounds. He is. But I want to tell you something. Jackson, for a strong safety, is a pretty good-sized guy himself. He's 200 pounds. Now watch him. Here he comes. He's fighting off the blocks up there. Finally closes down on Knox. Knox makes a good cut. Here comes Jackson. He's got him now. And then look, Knox says, I'm going to score. Finally, Jackson gets his right leg and pulls him down. 34-yard gain.
First and goal, Nebraska. Knox in the middle. Touchdown. Klein for the extra point. High snap. Blakeman handles it well, and the kick is good. And with 10 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the third quarter, Nebraska impressive in that opening possession. Lead it by 10. 1981, the Georgia Bulldogs came to the Sugar Bowl. Already the story of the year to beat Notre Dame. Scott Werner stopped the Irish with an end zone interception. And Herschel Walker ran for 150 yards. And Georgia finished the year undefeated, winning the game 17-10 and went back to Athens, Georgia, the national champions. Tyrese Knox, who just scored the touchdown to make it 17-7 Nebraska. 2 years ago, it was 10-0 halftime LSU. The Huskers won the ball game 28-10, and I'm sure Bill Arnsparger remembers it. This is Harvey Williams on the kick return, and he pops it up the sidelines and gets a big one out of it. Ryan Davis, quarterback, ran him out. LSU will possess the ball up around the 37.
Well, I tell you, another thing that they've got to be thinking about on the sidelines of LSU is that Bill Arnsparger has never been to a bowl where he's won it. He's 0-2 in bowls at LSU. They've got to go back to Wendell Davis. They've had success early. They hit him on the sideline go pattern. It was a big play that led to the touchdown. They haven't gone back to him since.
Ball is dropped off the snap by Hodgson. And I don't think he quite got back to the line of scrimmage, making a yard loss on the play. Ball put at the 37.
Keith, I can't understand it. They go to Davis the first play of the game, and he goes for 43 yards. Then they go 32 plays, and LSU hasn't gotten him the football. I said in the beginning of the ball game, I think he's got to touch it, make 7 catches to win this thing.
Second down, about 11. This is Williams. And he'll get it out close to the 41. Gain on that play of about 4. So they'll be looking at 3rd down and 7.
Boy, he's impressive. I'll tell you how good this guy is. 2 days before the National Signing Day for high school seniors last year, he called a press conference just to tell everybody the schools he was no longer considering. And the press conference was jammed. Everybody wanted to know what schools he wasn't going to attend. One of the most highly sought-after high school players in the country last year. He's also smart. Carries a 3.2 grade average.
Hodgson throwing on 3rd and 7. Goes big with it for McGee. And it is tipped away and falls incomplete. Brian Washington was back covering for Nebraska.
Well, he threw into a zone. You see all the red shirts around there, and it was underthrown. Outstanding defensive play right there. Reached the ball as high as peak. Brian Washington almost grabbed it one-handed, and then almost got the deflection, the tip. Boy, wide is the widest and deep is the deepest. Use that sideline as another defensive back, as your ally. Go up and get that ball at its highest peak and knock it away.
Matt DeFrank is in to punt. 2 deep men for Nebraska. Brinson and Smith. Gets this one to spin and turn over, and it's a dandy. And the Huskers let it go, and it takes an LSU bounce. And comes trickling back up the field and winds up about the 13-yard line.
As a flag, it's going to be a personal foul in that play. But let's watch what happened to Danny Noonan now. This is the matchup we told you right in the beginning of the game. Nacho Albergamo against Danny Noonan. Oh, look at these guys. They're grunting, pushing, shoving. 3 guys. They're triple teaming Noonan. He's going to want to go back and get in a jacuzzi and just sit there for a couple of hours.
Wendell Shelton talking to his colleagues. And here's the call. Personal foul, and the personal foul's called on Dante Wiley of Nebraska.
You know the thing, Keith, about Danny Noonan while we're talking about him, coaches say he's the best they've ever had at Nebraska. And that's quite a compliment when you consider guys like Rich Glover have played there. But by his own admission, he'll tell you, Noonan will, that he doesn't have the finesse of some of the other middle guards that have played, and he doesn't run around things. So when he's double-teamed, he's triple-teamed, he tries to fight through them with his strength. And he is one of the strongest guys on that Nebraska team. He bench presses 485 pounds. You saw him try to fight that triple team.
The
the coach is concerned. Nebraska leading 17-7. Huskers have the ball. First down at their own 7-yard line. Little pressure right here on LSU's defensive core. The Huskers just banged away at them the last time they had it and took it right down the field for a touchdown. Kalen carries and gets it over the 10 to the 12. No, it's Knox. Knox carried. So he picked up 5 yards just about on that first carry, and now Knox in 12 rushes today with 75 total yards.
Personal foul backed him up, and it was senseless. It was way away from the play. 2 guys just bumping and grinding out here on the side, pushed and shoved, and the flag flew.
Taylor has all day and finally shoots one down the middle, and it's incomplete, intended for Brinson. Something must have happened to Banderas, because it looked like he was looking tight end and didn't show up. Our college basketball series premieres here on ABC on Sunday, January 18. We start out with LSU and Kentucky and come right behind them with Louisville, the defending national champions, at Purdue against the Boilermakers. And the Boilers losing their first game last week. It looked like one of the top teams in the country. 3rd down and 12 now as Taylor runs away from some of the pressure, gets a couple of guys in front, turns it upfield, and gets up close to the 20. But he is still short of the first down because of the penalty. He had to get up to about the 23, and so they'll have to punt it.
He's fast, though. Even on a play like that, he doesn't get the first down. He's exciting to watch. Broke all of Marcus Allen's high school records for rushing, broke all of Damon Allen's passing records, and then they retired his jersey.
John Croker is in to punt. John has had 2 kicks today of 33 and 37. 7:20 to go in the 3rd quarter. He gets it high, and then it hangs up there, and a fair catch is called by Norman Jefferson back at the 45, and another penalty flag is thrown. Might have involved Micah Heibel and Norm Jefferson there. That fact that Heibel got too close and didn't give him the required 2 yards of free space to make the catch.
You know what happens? You get away from the regular season, you have a couple of weeks off, then you go back to practice, you get down here, and it's a festive type atmosphere, and you don't have the intensity, and you lose some of the discipline. Here it is right now. You've got to give him the full 2 yards. You can't come up like that.
Kick. There was no contact. 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's the call. It's a no contact foul of 5 yards. The ball is placed at midfield, so certainly on this possession, LSU has good field position, trailing by 10. In 1983, the Georgia Bulldogs came back to the Sugar Bowl ranked #1 against Penn State #2, and once again the challenger won 27-23. The winning points coming on a 47-yard Todd Blackledge pass to Greg Garrity, and the Nittany Lions had finally claimed a clear-cut national championship. LSU Tigers now trying to crank up their offense with 7:14 to go in the 3rd quarter and trailing 17-7. Sam Martin and Mickey Harris in the backfield. Tom Hudson, redshirt freshman, to throw it. Zips it. It is incomplete. That time he was trying to get it to Wendell Davis. 2nd quarter, it's 8-3 in the Rose Bowl. We've had 35 plays by LSU now since Davis had seen the ball. That time he had double coverage, and I'm sure that's part of the reasons why they have not been trying to get the ball to him, because he's been drawing a crowd. But that's a long time to go without throwing the ball at a guy who caught 80 during the regular season.
That time, though, he just went down and curled into the zone. And they came down and just converged on him, and they had three defenders around there, and it was finally tipped by Kevin Parsons, the linebacker.
2nd down and 10. Hudson again to throw it. Gets it away. The pass is caught by Sam Martin, and the Huskers are going to hold him up short of his first down. They'll give him progress to the 41 of Nebraska, and he had to get to the 40.
Danny Noonan, he's one of the best. We don't mean to demean him, but look at this. They use 2, 3 guys on him all the time. He doesn't work around the double team. And the most impressive thing is, look at this. He gets double team, triple team, and even quadruple team sometimes, and he still made 53 tackles this year. Remain as one of the leading tacklers on the entire team with 7 sacks.
3rd and 1 for LSU. Williams depends on the mark. Depends on the mark. Chris Bachman was the man that bent him back and refused to let him fall forward, and then he got some help from Munford. He had to get that ball to the 40. And they will measure.
Hodson is really impressive. He hangs in that pocket as tough as he possibly can. He's tough, too. He got knocked out.
I'm not sure they're going to measure. I'm not sure they're going to bring the change in. I think they've agreed now that it is not a first down, but it can't be any more than the length of the ball. You see Munford come over here. Now Spockman's going to get in. So see him? Spockman underneath and Washington at the top. And they wouldn't let him have it.
Sets up 4th down, too.
They will go on 4th down. Here's where Noonan can be real rough on you. He didn't get it. They did not get it. Gave it to Harris, and he didn't even come close. You had to get airborne if you're going to go that direction to get that first down.
Oh, what a big play that is. They go to a short yardage defense. Watch the red jerseys now. Defensive line just tries to penetrate. Try to get in that gap. Try to establish a new line of scrimmage a yard deep in the offensive backfield. Then the linebackers fill. Look at Spockman, 76 down the bottom of the pile. He's already a yard deep in there. Now here comes, look at Noonan. Noonan stands his guy, puts him on his back. The other guys penetrate. Thomas comes from the outside. The defensive backs and linebackers come and just jam it, stuff it right up there. And they may even lost. They lost it half an inch.
And
good
it's
conversion.
6:26 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Huskers have the ball with a timeout. Leading by 10 points, Nebraska's ball just outside the 40. First down. It's Knox. Picks up 3, and underneath the stands lurks Al Trautwig.
Well, Keith, you know, when they built the Superdome, the local fire company number 2, discovered it was tough to fight fires in here. So what did they do? They built their own fire company, 2B, and they're ready for everything here at the Superdome.
It looks downright dangerous, doesn't it? 2nd down and 7. Taylor rides it off inside to the first man out of the eye, Kalen, the fullback, and he picks up another 3-4. So it appears it'll be 3rd down and about 3.5 for Nebraska. The clock running at 5:35 to go in the 3rd quarter, and we'll pause 5 seconds to let our local stations identify themselves.
This is KETV Channel 7 in Omaha, Nebraska.
LSU's very opening possession. They stuck it in the end zone to lead 7-0. Field goal made it 7-3, and then Nebraska scored late in the first half and in the opening possession of the second half and lead it right now 17-7. And Steve Taylor picks up the first down as he rolls it outside and goes down to about the 42 of LSU.
Taylor got off to a shaky start, made a couple of errors early. He's made a lot of sophomore mistakes this year. But Tom Osborne took him out of the ball game, settled him down, talked to him, let him get a different perspective by looking at the game from the sideline. He came in. He's been extremely sharp ever since. You know, he played extremely well against Oklahoma in the last game of the year. Played well against South Carolina, played well in the Fiesta Bowl last year against Michigan. This is his time of the year. He likes to excel in tight-fit games and bowl games.
Peach on the LSU defense now. They don't want to let those Huskers get in the end zone one more time. That would be a big lead to overcome as Brinson tries to cut it back on that little wingback counter, and he'll pick up a yard on the play. The hit by nose guard Henry Thomas, big senior out of Houston. We've been talking a lot about Danny Noonan, but I'll tell you right now, Henry Thomas ain't that bad at 6'2", 265 pounds. Big Henry occupies a lot of territory in the middle of that defensive front. Second down and 9. Taylor throws it up through a balloon as Eric Hill had him in his sights and was coming after him full bore. Taylor didn't get anything on the ball, and he's lucky to get it back.
I didn't see a receiver in the area. I guess he was trying to get it to Todd Milliken somewhere in the middle on the middle screen. Obviously, it's a middle screen. You see him look to the right, look to the left, and finally just tries to dump it in there. But he threw it up and looked like a dead duck. Just kind of hanging and wobbling in the air, and it came down. Very dangerous pass. Good pressure by Hill.
Third and 9 for Nebraska. This time Taylor has something on it. The catch is made by Rod Smith, and then Smith is leveled by Norman Jefferson.
Well, I want to tell you, this is what a defensive back dreams about. You have a receiver coming across the middle. He's looking back for the football. You know you're in perfect position to make a great hit. Now here he comes. Watch this. Just turn and boom. Put him on the ground. There's no better feeling in the world than a tremendous hit when it's done cleanly. And this is clean. See, he has no clue the defensive back's coming at him right now. The defensive back right now has his eyes between the 8s. There he goes.
It's close to a first down. If it is a first down, it'll take some of the joy away from Jefferson's triumph. The triumph will turn and go to Smith. It is not a first down.
You know, Keith, there's been a lot of talk, especially in the National Football League this year, about cheap shots, and there have been some. But this is still a contact sport, and the harder you can hit them, the better success you're going to have, and that was just a tremendous lick.
You're wrong. Basketball is a contact sport.
This is a violent sport.
This is a collision sport.
I tell you, he's only 183 pounds, too. And he was going up against a guy with pretty good size, because Smith is 200 pounds.
Fourth and a foot. And the Huskers will go. Knox gets it. Good block on that right side. That's Tom Welter's side. And Knox flashed through there and picked up the first down close to the 30-yard line.
Knox is playing well today. He switched from I-back to fullback last spring, then moved back to I-back when the Huskers had injury problems. He ended the season as the 3rd leading rusher for Nebraska, and today he has 80 yards and 14 carries.
So the Huskers go on first down. Continuing to drive the ball down the field. Taylor keeps it, turns upfield, picks up close to 5. We go to Al.
Keith, it was getting a little warm inside the stadium, so I thought I'd come in and check the air conditioning. It's working. Back to you.
You know, they say if the air conditioning ever went out, they have their own generators here that you might very well, depending on the outside temperature, have an indoor thunderstorm.
That shakes some people up, especially after New Year's Eve.
Second down and 5. Taylor keeping the ball, pitches it, bounces it on the ground. Brinson is decked back on the 30, a loss of 5 yards. And Taylor may well have delayed too long that time to get rid of it.
Can't tell you how lucky Nebraska is that time, because the ball hit just sideways and came up without a funny bounce. Bounced right back up to Brinson, or else it was going to be a lot of trouble and another turnover for the Huskers. Now here they come. They come down the line. Here comes the pitch. Right now, you can see Eric Hill is locked on that pitch, but bounced right back up to Dana Brinson. I like the way Hill plays. Heat-seeking missile, boy, he just locks in on you.
Third and right about 9 yards. Knox is the I-back. Taylor wants to throw it. Has so. He is hit from behind. Number 72 it was. Really jumped him. Carl Wilson from Baton Rouge.
Steve Taylor gets up limping, too.
Well, he's kind of lucky he got up at all because Wilson weighs in at 6'4", 265, and he laid a lick on him.
But you see Taylor waiting for the Schnitzler to clear now. He double pumps and waits, and here comes Carl Wilson right behind him, and that's the most dangerous kind. You don't see him coming. You have no clue.
There was a fumble, too, and Welter recovered it.
Actually, he's lucky he didn't see him. He stayed loose rather than tightening up. Could have had an injury.
52-yard field goal try now from Dale Klein. Blocked. Ball is blocked by Henry Thomas. And it's finally knocked out of bounds after about 14 people touched it.
They ought to bring it back. He batted the ball. You can't bat the ball when it's on the ground like that. He purposely tried to throw a block, and then he swatted it downfield. Watch this now. Pressure comes right smack up the middle. Who is that? Wilson again?
No, that's Thomas.
Henry Thomas. All right, now watch this. He throws a block. Now watch him bat it with his left hand. Right here. See him? He just pushes it along. You can't do that.
Well, maybe he was trying to grab it in the view of the officials. We saw that in a Georgia-Alabama game, wasn't it?
Tried to grab it. Looked like he had a shovel.
Calvin Ruff did pretty much the same thing.
Looked like he had a broom.
It is LSU's ball. First down, just short of the Nebraska 17. Tigers trying to get back in the ball game here. Hodson rolls. Hodson's in trouble. Hodson goes down on the hands of Broderick Thomas. And Bill Arnsparger's wishing he had some eligibility left.
Well, I tell you, Broderick Thomas, though, he is some kind of athlete. Best all-around end Nebraska's had. He's got 4.6 speed. Nephew of Mike Singletary. He's the kind of guy that can talk and back it up. Reminds me of Dexter Manley. You know, that's only the second sack on Hodson today, and it's only the 9th sack all year.
Yeah, but it came at the right time for Nebraska. A loss of, 15 yards.
Get it back close to where he batted the ball.
Hodson almost fell down again, and he should have, because they just blow right over the top of him. Danny Noonan and Neil Smith bury him all the way back near the 41.
Oh, the LSU folks on the sidelines are just shaking their heads. They're saying, what's happening? Watch the offensive line. They're throwing lookout blocks, just yelling, look out to Hodson. Here comes the middle now. Noonan. He just goes through 3 people. Pressure on both sides. Look at this. Nobody even attempts to throw a block on Noonan. He just ran through cleanly.
They had the ball, first down, just short of the Nebraska 17. Now they're back near the 42. Another look at the block kick here on the field goal try. Thomas flashing in. Now let's see if he really does bat it.
It's a great angle here. You're going to see he gets out a shovel. First he throws the block and tries to scoop the ball up. See? Just use his body to shield it. Now he sees he's not going to get it. Now watch his left hand. Here we go. Watch this. He's trying to pick it up.
Oh, that's a bat.
Come on. He's got a broom out there.
I agree with you. Totally. He got away with it. Third quarter is over. 15 minutes to go. It's 17-7 Nebraska. 15 minutes to go. LSU's offense being drilled backwards by the Nebraska defense. They have the ball back near the 42. They'd have to go to the 8, inside the 8 for a first down. And the pass is caught by Wendell Davis just inside the 40. But that will bring up a 4th down as Brian Washington leveled it.
Nebraska's in a zone defense. They send 2 people deep, and then watch this. They just drag Davis across the middle underneath everybody. See him coming in underneath Munford right there, or Parsons, the linebackers. All right, now watch. Here comes the play, and here comes the lick. It's the same situation, opposite side. Brian Washington, perfect tackle. Tuck your tail, sky your eyes, put your head right under his chin, and drive him to the ground.
Matt DeFrank is in to punt. Dana Brenson deep to return. And Nebraska leading 17-7. Angles it for the corner. Got a pretty good chance to kill this one deep, and they will. Knock it out of bounds down around the 2. As Osbury got downfield to cover it on a 39-yard punt. So the Huskers will start deep, and on Saturday, January 10, 3 Eastern and Pacific, 2 Central Time.
Offensively, in this game, Nebraska's just taken over statistically. 144 yards rushing now against just 28 for LSU.
They've called contact at the 4. That's where Nebraska starts. First down. Won't be anything fancy here. Keith Jones, the more experienced of the running backs, is in there, and he brings it out for 7 yards to the 11.
Part of the reason for that rushing success, Keith, is the point that we mentioned earlier in the ball game, is that Nebraska is number 2 in the nation in rushing offense, while LSU ranks 27th in stopping the run.
Also beginning to get the feeling, though, that Nebraska's physical strength is beginning to take effect.
Well, you're right. You know, the state is a state that lives by the soil, and the football team at Nebraska lives by the ground game.
Steve Taylor, the quarterback, will move up close to the 14-yard line with 13-15, and as every tick of that clock winds down toward 0, it becomes friendlier and friendlier for Nebraska. Looks like they might be just short of their first down. Third and a half a yard. Keith Jones has it. First down, Cornhuskers at the 19.
LSU was one of the strongest teams in the SEC as far as takeaways. In the giveaway-takeaway ratio, they were +10 in turnovers. They've got to force a turnover now. They have to make something happen to get the ball back. You've got 12:35. They're trailing by 10 points, Keith. They've got to get on the board right now.
The defense did the job the last time. Blocked that kick, gave him first down on the 17, and the offense went right in the tight. Very difficult day to define for LSU. This is Jones. And they cover him pretty well after a pickup of a couple of 3 yards. Greg Jackson and Kevin Guidry fighting for that tackle.
It is a tough problem to define. You can't understand why they haven't gone to Davis more. And when they have gone to him, back underneath the zone instead of deep, which is a little bit disconcerting to me. I thought they'd take him deep and try to go downtown on that zone.
Taylor has time, but throws too far outside. Pass intended for Schnitzler, and he can't reel it in. So now they're looking at 3rd and long. Nebraska offense coming alive as of late in the first half. And the Huskers now have 163 yards on the ground, while LSU's ground game has produced only 28 yards. Penalty flag.
Somebody jumped a little bit early. It looked like the right side of the line. You know what happens. I'm going to sit up here and try to find out what's wrong with LSU, try to come up with my observations, and Phil Arnsbarger's going to come back and say, what are you trying to coach now? I'll never forget the first Sugar Bowl I worked, or the second Sugar Bowl, interviewing him at halftime as the first half ended, and he asked me if I was trying to coach. Just asked him a question. He's a good coach, though, I'll tell you.
By the offense, 3rd down.
So that backs the Huskers into a real 3rd and long situation. 3rd and close to 12. A little more than 11. Taylor guns it away to Banderas, but Banderas is too close to the sidelines, and Tom's knocked out by Eric Hill, linebacker on that side of the field. And in comes the Cornhusker punter.
So LSU will get the ball back and should have it in pretty good field position.
Norman Jefferson out of Marrero, Louisiana. Senior. Will try to return it as Crooker comes in to punt it.
They may be going for the block. No, it's a return.
Crooker didn't exactly kill it. And it takes an LSU bounce. And it bounces away from one of the Nebraska players. And LSU profits by another 5, 6, 7 yards. And will take over the ball close to the Nebraska 38. That was only a 15-yard punt.
All right, now Hodson has to come in and just take command. They've got to go bang, 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 zip into the end zone. Make this thing a 17-14 ball game with 11 minutes left in the game. They've got time to do something, but they've got to generate some offense right now. It's dead in here. The LSU sideline is dead. It's hanging its head, and the crowd's quiet.
Yeah, they've taken the crowd right out of the ball game. There's McGee. Finally get the ball to McGee, and he holds on at the 30 for an 8-yard pickup. Ryan Davis and Broderick Thomas on the tackle. Just what you said. Quick about it.
Hodson's impressive. I don't care what the outcome of the game is. He's back from surgery to his throwing arm, which corrected a nerve problem. Now he causes nerve problems for the defenses. He's impressive.
2nd and 2. Goes underneath. Good for the first down. Did he fumble it? He fumbled it, and Nebraska comes away with it. It looked like the tailback Williams made the catch. Brian Washington laid a lick on him. The ball rolled free, and the Cornhuskers have recovered it. And the Tigers are turned away.
All right, now here's what happened. They sent Wendell Davis, 82, down deep. See him now? He's releasing and taking the zone with him. Then Harvey Williams comes underneath the zone before the defense can adjust. And here comes the lick. Another perfect tackle, and the ball comes loose. Boy, I tell you, that's a tough time to have a turnover for LSU, but Nebraska is really putting a helmet on the receivers.
'86, one of the big bold surprises of all time. The Miami Hurricanes had national championship ideas against Tennessee, but the Volunteers sacked Miami quarterback Vinny Testaverde 7 times for 6 turnovers and won going away 35-7. Tennessee quarterback Darrell Dickey was the Sugar Bowl MVP.
Boy, this place was rocking last year when that game took place. I can't remember hearing Rocky Top played so much.
All right, here comes Nebraska carrying the ball, the fullback Micah Heibel, and you know that the Huskers are going to be as conservative as possible now.
Sure they are. They're just going to pound it out. They've had success on the ground. They're just going to melt the clock now.
Michigan over Arizona State, 15-6, second quarter in Pasadena. Well, I think one of the things, too, I sort of thought that Nebraska might have gone a little conservative against Oklahoma when they had the lead in the 4th quarter. And then the Sooners came up with the touchdown to tie, and then came back with that great catch by Keith Jackson, set up the winning field goal. This is the fullback, Heibel, and he just blows out of there. There isn't anybody around him, and nobody finds him until he's at midfield, and Greg Jackson brings him down.
Defense has to rise to the occasion one more time. I know this is cliche-ish, but they've got to come up. They've got to stop Nebraska one more time because there's still 10 minutes on that clock. This is a big play club. Offensively, they can come back and put points on the board. Look at this, though. Ooh, that's power running. Kalen's played well today.
That's Heibel.
I mean, Micah Heibel. Well, they're all playing well. They get in there. Those fullbacks, they all look the same. They come in and bang you. Frustrated linebackers.
First down at midfield. Taylor whips it, and it is good. Pass caught at the 39 by Rob Schnitzler, a senior from Battle Creek, Nebraska. Auburn beat USC 16-7 in the Citrus Bowl earlier today on ABC. Ohio State beat Texas A&M 28-12 in the Cotton Bowl. You got this one winding toward the finish. The Rose Bowl underway and the Orange Bowl tonight and the Fiesta Bowl tomorrow night with Penn State and Miami fighting it out in Tempe, Arizona for the national championship. On first down, this is Taylor, and Taylor is caught, and there is one of your big plays. Number 99 fighting his way through, Oliver Lawrence, a sophomore from Monroe. And Jones trying to get around outside, and I think it's obvious that Keith Jones has lost some speed. That's an LSU man. Number 48 is Nicky Hazard, linebacker, who's shaken up on the play.
He has lost some speed. He's got that deep thigh bruise, and he was really grown up as a runner. He got so much more talent, learned how to harness that talent up the middle.
Nicky Hazard helped off the field. It looks like they're working on the right leg. I hope it's not serious. Good player.
Let's try to see what happened to him. Number 48, there he gets it right there, right on that knee.
He got it on the left knee there.
It's John McCormick, the offensive guard, that just comes in and slices that knee right. And the thing is, on AstroTurf, artificial surface, and I do not like artificial surface, is that your cleats, your AstroTurf cleats, just stick to them. It's not like grass and ground where the ground will give. Your cleats just stick there, and there's no give, and the thing that gives out is your knee. The weakest joint on the strongest limb in the body.
It'll be second down and 14 for Nebraska. The ball back near the 43 of LSU. And carrying the ball, Ken Kalen, the fullback, with 8 minutes and 50 seconds to play in the ball game. And Nebraska trying to grind it out here, leading 17-7. They'll be very happy not to have to do anything fancy at all. LSU's going to have to force them, have to take the ball away from them. And at this point, I don't know if they can. 3rd and 7. Taylor hits Banderas. Banderas has a first down as he reaches the 22 of LSU. Tom Banderas, a junior out of Oak Grove, Missouri, has become a very prominent personality in the Nebraska passing offense.
Really has, and this is a neat play too, because they take Jones, who is a deep threat, and they fly him down, and then underneath of that they bring Banderas to tight end. Now watch this, and he's isolated on Mike Merla, 93, the linebacker. Now Banderas has pretty good speed. Merla goes out of bounds, and it's good fortune he's got some pretty good support over there, but for Banderas, it's 4 catches and 41 yards.
And the Huskers have a first down. Taylor options, keeps it on the corner, and turns it to about the 11, and he may very well have another first down. He's close. Typical Cornhusker march here. Grinding it and grinding it.
LSU's defense looks a little bit tired now, too.
Been out there a long time in the second half. 7:25 to play in the ball game. So far, LSU flagged 10 times in the first half, has not drawn a penalty flag in the second half. And Keith Jones carries it and goes from the 11 down to about the 8.
Somebody's got to get in that huddle and take over for LSU and tell them, hey, look, we got a place for defensive pride. This LSU defense held opponents 12 times inside the 10 without a touchdown. We both saw that Notre Dame game. Notre Dame had 1st and goal on the 1 and didn't get a touchdown. Somebody's got to perk them up right now. They're sucking wind. They're all hanging their heads and tired.
Pretty good sized folks with some talent, though, facing them across the ball. Taylor keeps it and turns it inside the 5 to the 3. He'll be short of his first down. They can get a first down just short of the 1-yard line.
I'll tell you something. You take Maggard, Parker, Cooper, McCormick, and Tom Welter, and you've got almost as good an offensive line as you can find anywhere in the country.
Right.
Every year since those guys have been there, they've been in the top 5 in the country in rushing offense.
Liable to hear those names for a long time in that other league.
I agree with you.
The clock has been stopped now at 6 minutes and 6 seconds to go in the ball game. Nebraska owns the football. 3rd down. Ball is about the 3, and the Huskers really trying to effectively slam the door. 24-7 would be a pretty good-sized mountain for LSU to try to climb, considering the way they've been handled in the second half, and it's exactly what happened to them the last time these two teams met. LSU led at half 10-0. Nebraska won the ball game 28-10.
And they hurt themselves so badly. They got out of the blocks quickly, and they came out and had some big plays. They looked pepped up. They looked like they were playing well. They were in rhythm. All of a sudden, they had a couple of personal fouls, a holding call, and it took them out of rhythm, took them out of sync, and they haven't been right since. Nebraska, on the other hand, started dropping back its zone, bunching everybody up tight on running plays, guessing when they were going to run the ball. Then on passing downs, just dropping back, playing a deep zone, and taking the deep pass patterns away from guys like Martin and Kitchen, and especially Wendell Davis. Davis has been the surprise to me. He averaged 7 catches a game this year. He's 3rd in the country. 80 catches, 12 touchdowns, and he's only had what today? 2 catches?
Well, I guess Tom Osborne's philosophy on him was right, huh?
That's exactly right. Surprised me when he said it. He says, we're not going to give special attention to him. We play team defense.
All right, it's 3rd down. Ball on the 3. They can get a first down without scoring. Steve Taylor throws into the end zone. Touchdown, Milliken. Very effectively set up what appeared to be an option play. Instead, that little juke planted his feet. Milliken opened up, and he hit him right in the number.
Taylor, play action, looks to tuck it away, then stops, just pulls back, and Milliken's sitting by himself in the middle of the end zone.
Now Dale Klein out of Cleet Blakeman's hole. It's a high snap. Blakeman gets it down. Klein knocks it straight through there, and it's with 6:02 to play in the game, 24-7, Nebraska. Ten plays, 72 yards. But as far as Nebraska's concerned, it's the time that means almost as much as anything else, because now they have posted a 17-point lead, and they have definitely put time on their side. Fuller and Williams are deep for Klein's kickoff now.
They've been authoritative, too.
Yes, they have. They're just going stronger and stronger as the game's going on.
Very emphatic in that last drive.
Going to Harvey Williams at the 5. I'd like to see him get out in the open and really get those feet flying, because he looks like he definitely has that potential. Comes back with a good return, gets it up to about the 28-yard line.
They say if he stays healthy, he'll become the best LSU running back since Heisman Trophy winner Billy Cannon.
College basketball premieres on ABC. LSU, Kentucky on Sunday, January 18, followed by Louisville and Purdue at West Lafayette. Louisville, the defending national champions, having a little trouble getting it cranked up, but then they're just ready to go into the Metro season. They're liable to be right there again. First down from the 28 as Hodson goes to throw. And he is hit as the ball was moving forward, and it's an incomplete forward pass. Might have been close, though.
It was a little bit close. You know what's interesting about Hodson's motion is he gooses the ball a little bit. He'll bring that thing way down before he takes it up and throws it. Most quarterback coaches will tell you to put it up by your ear and what. Look, see, that ball's down by his belly button right now. Now he brings it up. Most coaches tell you to drop back with that thing up near your shoulder and throw it right off your ear and release it quickly.
Might have been Neil Smith that got a hold of him there. Second down and 10. Smith popping through there again, flushes Hodson. Now he's over the line of scrimmage, and he steps out of bounds after picking up about 5 yards. And the clock stops at 5:40.
LSU has a lot of good young talent. Think about Wendell Davis as just a junior. Hodson is a redshirt freshman. Harvey Williams, that we were just talking about, number 22, is a true freshman. He's the guy that broke all of Eric Dickerson's rushing records in high school. Scored 70 touchdowns.
Sam Martin's only a junior. They do lose some of their big horses along the lines of scrimmage. Hodson on 3rd down and 5. Intercepted. Picked off by Brian Davis. And he may go. He does go down to about the 13. Make it the 12. And it's 1st down, Nebraska. And the Cornhuskers have just put the lock on the door.
And they threw away the key. 5:26 left, 24-7. Hanging back in the zone. Brian Davis read it, skated. Watch this now. Hodson drops. He's looking in that zone the entire time. Never looks off the defender. Front, back, and Davis just goes up and again reaches it as high as peak. Just skated to that sideline. They tell a defensive back that sideline is your greatest ally. They say it's like another player. Just call him Johnny Sideline. You don't have to go over that far. He played it nicely.
Just inside the 13, and Taylor flips it back to Tyrese Knox, and Knox goes to the 9.
Wendell Davis driving Brian back. Now Brian's reading all the way. Already he's making his move to step in front of him. Doesn't follow him all the way to the sideline. Just steps in front, waits for the ball, and takes it at its highest peak.
Second down, about 7. Boy, there's some heavy banging in the middle there as Heibel carries the ball, and Micah's had a pretty good second half. 4 minutes and 40 seconds to play in the ball game.
He and Ken Kalen both.
Yep. Pretty much 3rd and 4 here. Taylor turns inside, and he won't get it there. He's down just inside the 5, where it is 4th down. Leading 24-7 with just less now than 4 minutes to play. Timeout is called as apparently Nebraska. Taylor was looking around waiting for Dale Klein to come on 4th down. But so far he has not come. Well, I think Tom Osborne feels that the decision is now secure. He does not send Dale Klein into the ball game. He's going to let him run it. He's got Tyrese Knox lined up behind Micah Heibel. And Steve Taylor will keep it and go for the 1st down. It'll be 1st and goal, Nebraska, just short of the LSU goal line. Been a hard day for Bill Arnsparger, his final game, as he now leaves LSU and leaves coaching and goes on to the University of Florida to become the athletic director.
So he'll be 0-3 in bowls. Now you see Taylor come down the line of scrimmage. He reads that they're soft on the corner with the defensive end, so he cuts it up and almost scores, does get the 1st down.
That's Knox. Touchdown. In his second half, the Cornhusker band has had their fair share of airtime. Trying to make it 31-7 now. Missed it. Hello. Dale Klein doesn't miss that extra point very often. 30-7, 3:26 to play in the game. Consecutive bowl game under Tom Osborne. They have this one in hand, 30-7. And Klein will now kick off to LSU. And it goes to Williams at the 5. And he is caught and brought down by number 24, who has been involved pretty much in the special teams all day long, Dante Wiley.
Game plan changed at halftime. It looked like Tom Osborne just took his team in and said, hey, look, the rules have changed. Now it's going to be straight ahead, no fair dodging. Offensive line has just powered its way. I think it wore down the LSU defense. They just went bang, bang, pop that time for Tyrese Knox taking it in for the score. This is a team which had national championship aspirations for most of the season. First 7 weeks, went 6-0 and finally got stopped by Colorado. Then played Oklahoma, very tough down to the end of that game. Lost it late, 9-2. Fine football team.
It'll make Osborne's record in bowl games 8-6. He lost last year to Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl. They bounced back. Well, it could be the final possession for LSU right here. They own the ball first down just short of their own 34-yard line, and the Tigers are going to finish the year with a record of 9-3. They were upset by Miami of Ohio. They lost by 2 points to Ole Miss, but they beat some tough people along the way and won the Southeastern Conference Championship. And Tom Hudson, who threw for 2,261 yards during the regular season, tries to force one into Davis, and he can't do it. The most outstanding player in the Sugar Bowl, voted by the members of the media here, Steve Taylor. But he is not among the ABC MVPs in this ballgame.
Well, he may be the comeback player of the game.
Could be.
Got off to a very shaky start, went out, came back, regrouped, and played quite well after that.
Hudson to the sidelines, trying to hook the ball in there, and he could not get it to the intended receiver. Number 26, Alvin Lee, listed as a tailback, had lined up in a flanker spot at that point in time. And now it is 3rd down and 10.
This is the maturation process for Hodson. He is going to grow up after this game. He's a fine athlete, but you have to remember he's still a teenager. He won't be 20 until January 28th. He'll come back and play 3 more years for LSU, and he is one of the best that I think we've seen this year.
Good one. There's another penalty flag on the field, and goodness knows we've seen enough of those today, and this one is going to go against LSU.
We have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike act by the offense. The player has been ejected. It'll be 3rd down.
Who came out?
Well, you talk about frustration. I didn't see who came out. I didn't even see the penalty.
Eddie Fuller just trotted off the field, but I'm not sure it was Fuller. LSU 11 flags, 115 yards. Hudson trying to set up a screen. He gets it to Alvin Lee, but there's not enough screen there, and Nebraska piled on him a little bit on the sidelines, and there's a flag there, and I think that personal foul call is going to go against the Huskers for hitting him out of bounds. So that'll get back to 15 yards. The clock stops at 2 minutes and 59 seconds to play in the game. And Wendell Shelton's had more airtime than Tim Brent.
I tell you, you can look at this Nebraska defense, though, and see why it's 2nd in the country only to Oklahoma. It is well disciplined. It is aggressive. It is tough, hard hitting, and they all run to the football. Very few times will you see a Nebraska player overrun a play or take himself out of his area. Here's the end of that play now. They called a dead ball personal foul. He's down. What they call that, the late hit?
I think so.
Almost looked like he tried to avoid contact. I think he did. Tried to avoid contact.
It's 8 flags and 74 yards against Nebraska. Brings up a first down for LSU, and Hudson gets it away down the middle to Roger McGee. McGee makes the catch. Big pickup on the play down to the Nebraska 45-yard line. And the chain's moving now with the clock showing 2:52.
Deep zone now. They're playing prevent defense. It's all loosened up, just trying to take away the touchdowns. They'll let them have these, and he just floats into the middle of the seam. Nice pattern by McGee. He found the open area, just became invisible in there, worked himself into that seam and made the catch.
It's McGee who is shaken up on the play. Here's a look at the Nebraska, the University of Nebraska.
Watch the heartland for a move to the future. The University of Nebraska-Lincoln is setting the pace with original research in laser technology, teaching innovations in franchise studies and foundations for freshmen, and valued public service through the AgNet Computer Network. Research, teaching, and service that change lives.
The University of Nebraska-Lincoln, learning that makes a difference.
Hodgson back throwing for LSU to the sidelines. The ball is batted up in the air by a defender. It falls out of bounds. The pass is incomplete. 2.5 minutes to go. I'll tell you, there's been a substantial changing of the guard this year as we've come to the end of another college football season. A lot of folks moving around. Of course, the latest, and the gentleman we had at halftime with us, Ray Perkins, off to Tampa Bay. The Buccaneers leaving Alabama. And the rumors and the suggestions and all of the stories are rife around now as to who might follow. I did check a few minutes ago with a gentleman here from Florida State who indicated that Bobby Bowden had not said no, had not yet been approached, and would talk if somebody called him. So there's one name that's already in the hopper. Of course, another one that pops up immediately is Jackie Sherrill, who played for Paul Bryant at Alabama, and there will be all kinds of names coming out of the hat.
Howard Schnellenberger's another one that appears to be somewhat interested in the job at Alabama.
School still looking. Washington State shopping for a coach. Jim Alton left. He's off to Iowa State. Joe Kapp moved out of California. Fred Akers left, fired at Texas, but moved to Purdue. And back goes Hodgson to throw again. He finds Davis, and Davis makes the catch and picks up another LSU first down. As the Nebraska defense now, with a lot of reserve players in the game, becoming a little more permissive at 2 minutes and 23 seconds to play in the game. Ball fumbled by Hodgson, but Tommy picks it up, gets his pass away, and he threw it with some velocity, and the pass is caught. Alvin Lee, number 26, who's come into the game late to play for the Tigers, making the grab in front of a defender, and they'll mark him at the 24-yard line.
It used to be that the big schools very rarely would go within the staff to hire an assistant to take over for the head coach, but we've seen that trend develop this year with Joe Krivak at Maryland taking over for Bobby Ross, and the same with Mike Archer here taking over for Orangeburg.
Hodgson looking around, gets his pass away. The pass is caught by Tony Moss, and Tony Moss is in there for a touchdown for the Tigers.
Boy, and if you looked at Tom Osborne right now, you'd never believe that he has a big lead, 30-13. He is really frustrated and upset with his defense. They're in a prevent defense, and this should never happen. See, they're in a zone, but it just so happens that they got a little bit too aggressive. Lawrence Hicks, the defensive back over there, number 8, just came up, took the bait, and he should have just stayed loose. He reacted to a move and to the pump fake.
Tony Moss, a redshirt freshman from Bossier City. Well, I tell you, LSU stays at home pretty much to who they're recruiting, don't they? Louisiana, Texas. Going for 2, penalty flags all over the field. Little lob pass by Hodgson, and it's caught by Alvin Lee, but let's see about the flags.
Tom Osborne went all the way down to the 25-yard line to point it out, so it apparently is against LSU.
We have a substitution infraction by the defense. 12 men on the field, but not participating. We will carry the penalty over to the kickoff. The 2 points are good.
That's why he was running down the field. That's why he was running down the field, to get the extra guy off. Screaming and yelling at him to get off. Let's take a look at the LSU campus.
Very quickly, running down how this game developed. 7-0 LSU off the first possession of the first quarter. 42-yard field goal by Klein made it 7-3 LSU. And then at halftime, late in the first half, Taylor, having set out a series, comes back, engineers a drive, runs it in from 2 yards, 10-7 halftime Nebraska. The Huskers opened the second half with a touchdown, 17-7. Then in the fourth quarter, they made it 24-7 with a touchdown, made another touchdown to make it 30-7. And now Moss catches the 24-yard pass from Hudson. It's 30-15 on the 2-point conversion. And Ron Lewis is now in to kick off for LSU. Onside coming up. I bet you. 2:01 to play in the game. There's your onside kick. It does not bounce in the air. It is covered very quickly by Jeff Jamrog, number 80. And Nebraska will have the football on the LSU 49. The players of the game, the Chevrolet MVPs, Danny Noonan and Henry Thomas, the 2 nose guards. Noonan had only 2 tackles, but he occupied 2 and sometimes 3 people all day, and LSU picked up 33 yards in the middle. Thomas had 12 tackles in the ball game. That is the largest number of tackles by any player on the field. So Henry was a big factor in the ball game for the LSU Tigers defensively. Doug Dalton, number 26, is in there at a fullback position, and Clete Blakeman returning as quarterback for Nebraska, as now they just want to run the clock down, keep the ball on the ground, and we've got an LSU man hurt on the field. 1:54 to play in the game. LSU has 2 timeouts remaining, and Nebraska none, but Nebraska doesn't need them.
Danny Noonan's going to make a great pro. Strong, he's quick. They say he's the best middle guard ever to play at Nebraska. And, you know, that's where this game was played, down in the middle.
Mike Merlo, incidentally, right there. Excuse me, Tim.
This entire game was played right down there in the middle.
I think so. Everything hung right around that where the big boys are, and as the day wore on, Nebraska just became stronger and stronger, and eventually wore them down.
I tell you, you know, Noonan, we told you he bench presses 485 pounds. Well, that was a new record for football players at the University of Nebraska. He had it broken the next day by his backup, Lawrence Pete, and lifted 500 pounds the very next day after he set the record.
Is that right? Did he respond?
Not yet. But he's trying.
Dana Brinson, number 33, carries the ball for LSU and picks up what appears to be another first down for the Cornhuskers. And a whistle, and the clock is stopped. It stops, of course, to move the chains on each first down in college football inside the final 2 minutes. Well, they haven't moved the markers yet. Tom Osborne is over there talking to the linesman. It certainly looks like a first down to me.
Look at Tom. You'd think the score was tied right now. He is really upset. Went out and talked to the official.
Did he fumble the ball?
Here's the play now. Here comes Dana Brinson. All he has to do is get to the 39-yard line. Here's the first hit. See where his knee goes down. He's already there.
Clearly has the ball in his hand.
Boy. And look where the marking is.
Ball is near the 38.
I can't understand that. That should have been a first down. Clearly the ball is past the sticks.
Well, Hodson back, throws in a hurry, and it's down the middle, intended for Davis, and it is incomplete. And here's a penalty flag. And we get a little scuffle going on. as some of the frustration again surfaces. And the clock once more is stopped at 1:39. They ought to just go ahead and let the clock run out, because this ball game is over.
Yeah, it looks like somebody's being escorted to the sidelines.
I don't understand that previous play, because he clearly did not fumble the ball. At least I didn't see it fumble. Looked to me like he had it in his right arm, and it was a second down play. So I don't understand how the ball could be turned over there.
Maybe we can get Al to get us a ruling down there. All right, now here comes Brinson, Keith. He has to get to the 39-yard line. That's where the stick is. All right, here he gets hit right about the 40. Bounces off. You see the stick? See the marker? That's a first down marker. Clearly across it. Should have been a first down.
We have a dead ball. Personal foul against the offense. Player's been ejected. Second down.
Well, I guess the only thing that could have happened is the ball had to come loose, but it looked to me like he clearly had possession when he went down. And so did obviously Tom Osborne, but it's not going to change the outcome of the ball game under any circumstance. Personal foul called against LSU, and that backs him up to about the 17, and the pass is thrown out of bounds, incomplete, intended for Wendell Davis.
I guess the officials were thinking about which flight they were going to catch.
Oh, well. Obviously, we didn't see something, I think. Minute and 36 seconds left to play in the ball game. The issue has been resolved. Nebraska has won the ball game. They lead right now 30-15. So the SEC today is 1-1. Auburn beat SC, and LSU, the champion, is losing to Nebraska, and that goes right through the hands of number 47, Leroy Etienne. Leroy almost had himself an interception. We have a Sugar Bowl record in yards penalized. LSU with 12 flags, 130 yards. That's a new Sugar Bowl record for penalty yards. Not necessarily something that you want to take home. Part of the emphasis on charity and all the factors involved in the Sugar Bowl pageant has to do with the centennial year of the United Way. Not only in New Orleans, but all over the country. 100th anniversary. That is a beauty of a punt. It runs Brinson all the way back to the 30. And he gets a block on the corner. Now he wants to come back the other way, and he may get some help over here if he can get by the one man, but he can't do it. And he is finally run down at about the 28-yard line, and the clock shows 1:15.
Some of the LSU fans were booing that time, didn't think that LSU should have punted, saying with a minute 15 remaining in the ball game and trailing 30-15, hey, go for it. But they had a long way to go.
They had about 31 yards to go.
And if they go for it and don't make it, Nebraska's got it right down there inside the 15 again. And the score could have even been worse.
Well, that just simply doesn't follow logic. It's one thing to throw it up for grabs and hope you can come out of it, but the issue is not in doubt. And sometimes when you start playing that kind of football, you're going to wind up with another touchdown against you. Carrying the ball is Terry Rogers. Johnny Rogers' son, will show up more and more along the way as his career continues at the University of Nebraska. Johnny, of course, was a Heisman Trophy winner with the Cornhuskers.
Terry's fun to watch, too. He is really quick. He's wearing his dad's number. That number was retired, and he wanted to wear it, and they requested from the school to get it out. Johnny said, yes, sir. You can unretire the number. And so he's wearing it.
That's number 26, Doug Dalton, a sophomore from Cortland, Ohio, carrying the ball for Nebraska.
I wonder if that's ever been done before. Bringing a jersey out of retirement.
I don't know.
Boxers do it all the time.
Clock rolling along now. They don't have to snap it again. They don't have to snap it. The Nebraska Cornhuskers with less than 10 seconds, now 7. Looks like they will snap it one more time, and they do. This is McCatherine Clayton in there at quarterback, killing the clock, still running around with it. The game's over. And the Nebraska Cornhuskers have defeated the LSU Tigers by a score of 30-15, finishing the season at 10-2. LSU finishes the season at 9-3. This ABC Sports Exclusive has been brought to you by USF&G Insurance. USF&G covers the USA. By the heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet. And by Vicks Sinex. With Sinex, you feel better in seconds. Plus, it keeps you breathing for hours. Once again, your final